Welcome back, one and all, and thank you so much for sticking around. Let's set the table for our last match of the day to close out day one of week 3 here in stage 3. It's going to be Team Liquid and Spacestation Gaming. Jack, Kevin, these is going to be the match in NA. We are trying to establish which is the top dog or horse in our case here, because Team Liquid is making a really strong case for themselves thus far. This is the first real test for both of these teams. Who's going to come out on top? Let's discuss, starting with Team Liquid. We talked about the expectations for this team earlier on today. They are pegged to be the team who has probably the biggest advantage given what patch we're playing on, or what meta we're playing on right now.
1000%. Like, this team was purpose-built, it feels like, for this meta. You have Tree, Zera, a little double flex, Tracer, Gen.G, Infected on ball. You can play hard double flex support with this backline as well. RuPaul, Vega. It's a gross team right now. And I've heard a lot of consensus from the community, like SSG, like they're the best, like Liquid, like it's not out. Like the consensus isn't like, okay, one team is the best right now. A lot of people have different opinions. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I said 3-1 in the pre-show, to Liquid, that is. I still think they've got what it takes to do it. I think this meta, as long as it doesn't change going into even the World Finals, they're in with a good shot of doing it. Doing really well though too.
You saw Zero, Zero is the best tracer at the moment. I still think Infected on ball is going to be a massive factor. Expect the ball ban to come on through. It's basically going to be required. Vega's been sneaky good on that Wu Young as well. People have to remember, this is the guy that can play the Alara. This guy that can go onto the Zen as well. We saw him do that last year. He's a main support player that has a decent amount of chops and aiming mechanics to actually jump on a flex support. So people talk a lot about where Ultra Violet is currently in this meta, how good he is on Wu Young. The fact that you have RuPaul, Vega that can play Kiriko, Wu Young together, which I think for a lot of teams they struggle on that, because it requires both of your supports, including especially your main support, to be a decent aimer on those mechanics to be able to execute. This is one of the few things that Team Liquid have an advantage over a lot of the other teams. Then the fact that Tree is flexible enough to move between flex DPS and also the hit scan as well. I don't think, again, hit scan is super relevant in this current meta. Most teams will just play because they kind of have to based on who's in your roster. For Tree, you can move across. We've seen it on the Gen.G, we've seen him play the Reaper. You can go back on any of the hit scans he needs as well. So a very flexible team that just plays exactly what they need to in the meta.
Yeah, now of course SSG, it's difficult to really gauge their strength given the performance they had last week against Team Z. Team Z just completely folded. It was like shearing up to dominance. I think the only player who died like on map 2 was Hawk, absolute feeder, with like 1 death or something.
That was wild.
But yeah, it's like you can't really take away too much from those kind of matches, which also means that Team Liquid can't take away too much from those matches. So I guess that is good. But this is the first true test for both.
Yeah, 100%. And I will repeat what I said in the pre-show, which was this is going to come down to map picks and bans, because Avril picked up on it earlier on. SSG, they're going to be very vulnerable in the tank department there. Hawk is exceptional what he does. Diva, off tanks, Zarya, etc. But if we go to maps where, like, okay, Diva, Zarya may not be able to be played. If one of them could be like hard played, then hey, we're just going to ban that away. My mind goes to like Watchpoint Gibraltar. If we go there and then they ban Hawk's Diva, like it's going to be a little bit of a problem for them. Whereas like Infected, he's a little bit more flexible on across the board. But this is where you really have to put your eyes. Zera, yes, best tracer player in North America currently. Sugar Free too. Dude, he is still just destroying. Like, even back on, like, Vancouver Titans back in Overwatch League as well.
He's real far back.
Just, yeah, seriously. But the guy is just an absolute menace. Like, him and Zera going into a head-to-head here on the Tracers is going to be just a show to watch. It's going to be a fun series, but I just want it to be close.
Sugar Free would like the crown back of being best flex DPS in the region, because I think Zera has basically sniped that. This has been kind of a bit of a royal road for Zera this year, in terms of he was an up-and-coming player that was good. I remember last year seeing him in finals, like, this is a good up-and-coming player, and this year exploded on the scene, is now by far, I think, the unanimous #1 flex DPS play in the current region. But in this particular match, you also have to consider, I don't know what the status of Scissors is. I know he posted an LFT, but I don't think he's actually off the team. So I believe he is available to be subbed in. I'll have to get confirmation on that. He did play for SSG in some of the earlier matches. He was in that Nightmare match as well, because you do want to see potentially Spacestation play double flex DPS in some situations. Chronic has been a really good pickup on this team over Seeker. However, just like Seeker, there are going to be some hero pool limitations, and I think that's where it's really going to come down to. Hawk has hero pool limitations. Chronic has hero pool limitations. Nightmare essentially don't have any of that. Nightmare will be able to play just about everything you need. I'm not expecting.
But are we sure there are really, like, for Hawk? I mean, he's obviously like a veteran player, has played on the highest of all levels, and like we know the heroes he's known for, right? But he's been out of the professional esports scene for a little bit, and that doesn't mean that he didn't play. So surely he's kept up with the meta, like, and he knows that he can't get away with being a one trick anymore. Like, those days are long gone. And so far, he has not seemed to miss a beat slotting back into Overwatch professional.
Yeah. It just means that, like,
agree.
it just means he won't be able to play some of the Winston ball kind of stuff. I think I think Hazard will be his most valuable flex pick in this particular series, because that's the one he needs to be leaned into. If D.Va, and I expect D.Va to be banned at some point, he needs to be able to bring that Hazard out on a dive map.
This is going to be an explosive series to end our day, so let's get it started. Team Liquid going up against SSG, starting right now.
Yes, thank you very much, Zoe. Definitely the most anticipated series of the Saturday here in week number 3. Avril, what was your spread again? I had a 3-1.
I went with the Chris spread. I said 3-0, no points.
Oh, yeah. 3-0, no points. The Christopher
Which
spread.
I don't actually believe is real. Like, I'm sure, I want to believe SSG are more than a good enough team to take a map, take some points. I think 3-1 is probably more likely, but I also think Liquid are just so much more of a team that you can see where the strengths are, and they have far fewer weaknesses. Whereas I think SSG, there are bits and pieces where I'm like, that's a hole you can poke at. This is a position as well that you can make a poke at. Oh, dude, we're gonna get the D.Va ban right off the gate.
Ready.
What's the map against Ilios? Okay, that's a nice man. That means already you're basically gonna have to see Hawk lean towards the Hazard. Potentially the Hog as well. We did see in the highlight packages, he was playing some Hog, and obviously it's a bit of a main, but Well does exist for Hog. But beyond that, into hard dive, into ball, into Winston, Hog is playable. So in fact, it's really good into the ball. So look out for that.
I wonder,
have to be careful.
I wonder if Hawk still thinks about the Atlanta Reign, Houston Outlaws, Well C9. The Hawk face, do you reckon? Surely
I think we all think about it a lot more than he does. It's so long.
Yeah, probably. God, that face will go down in history. But yeah, it's going to be Ruins by the looks of it to start us off. And yeah, so like pivoting towards the Hazard, or even the Zarya, to be fair, on some of the closer range points. Like,
Zarya makes sense.
How do you think Team Liquid like just navigate around that? Because to me it's like, well, Infected just plays Winston or he plays ball.
I think he should maybe not, well, he could even on this map, but I was going to say I think he should just run through on the ball and test out how the ball's going to work against Space Station and see if Space Station can actually handle it and counter or do anything against it first and foremost. The Zarya band is going to be available at some point as well for Team Liquid, so this is going to be the series where they need to, in my opinion, heavily target Hawk in the bans, heavily target Chronic in the bans, but Hawk is probably their prime target overall because they know Infected will just be able to play around it no matter what. Is Infected going to really bring through the Ramatra is a big question here.
Surely
and
not.
We won't have an
this
answer
HQ's broken
just yet.
Today is so cursed. It's crazy. Hopefully we get back into the
crazy curse
into the series. I might just blame you, Aberron. I can't lie, bro.
Do I look like Seth? Do I look like the king of pauses? He's not even
Yeah,
here.
he is the. That is true. Seth's pretty bad when it comes to pauses. I think he's still
At least we haven't seen a C9 yet.
Yeah, I mean, Rose has to be here for one of those.
Yeah, that's why. So no C9s today because, you know, Rose isn't here to curse the teams of C9s. So everyone's touching point. That's a good news. So you're not going to see the Hawk moment where Atlanta don't get the touch and it's all over in the OT. Although, to be honest, it was the longest OT of all time. So you have like a split second to touch to continue that one. I am very, I don't want to say confused, but I'm very interested in what this opening matchup is in terms of opposition, because you have Hawk Zarya, which is what we expect. I don't think Lep's going to stay on Juno because that looks like a ring out the spawn door to me, and then he'll probably go Lucio. There's no Symmetra for Chronic, so he's going to come through on a cast. Sugarfree's going to start on a Venture, which I think Venture taking bubbles is pretty interesting. And if they're assuming Zero is going to stay on the Sim, that's a pretty nice counter pick off the get. That's an insane read coming through from Sugarfree and SSG.
Just a small player tech issue. So yeah, one of the players is just struggling right now. So hopefully we'll get back into the game in just a moment. But don't forget, there's some of the DHL moments from this stage. Avril, you can win some tickets. You yourself, Avril, maybe, I don't actually, you're probably disqualified from it because you worked on the broadcast, but you can predict the EMEA and NA winners and win some World Finals trips. So, you know, everything kind of paid for, you know what I'm saying? You get to meet Cargo, you get to meet some of the Korean teams. And I'm sure you'll make it somehow. ESL.gg/DHL-OWCS is the website. Make sure you log on and make a bold prediction, and you could be in with a chance of winning a trip to the World Finals. That's in November, which is pretty close. We're already in September, and it's the latter half of September as well. So time is flying by. We're close to the end of the season already. Yeah, so like I said before, we're just waiting for the players to sort out their tech issues, and then we'll be in. But hopefully this is going to be the last pause, and it will be at the top of this series. So yeah, and also don't forget, if you don't end up winning through the DHL moments, you can still pick up some tickets as well. Day one, 3-day VIP and some exclusive merch packages available. I'm just getting word, it's just Zera having some audio issues, so that shouldn't be too long to sort out.
I believe he's going to reconnect as well, so thankfully this at least happens before we've actually had gameplay, so we're not getting a disconnect, losing any also anything like that. But I think the gates literally just opened and no confirmation.
So what do you think of this Ram then?
I believe that Infected is actually going to run through on this. I think Ram did get a buff, but I don't know if that's enough to make him relevant. He's playing Ram and Zarya as well. Don't have any particular insights on that particular matchup, but Tree looks like he's sticking on the Hanzo for a bit of range. Everything on the side of Liquid so far is slightly confusing me. Obviously, Wuyong is banned, so Vega doesn't get to play that. They're just going to play Lucio Kiriko. I would have assumed they would play Dai, but I think they also know they have a high likelihood of running into the Zarya here. And the response to Zarya is going to end up playing Ram, which maybe some interesting shield play, some Ram Nemesis blocking will make Orc's gameplay a little bit worse. Chronic being on the cast is a clear target though. If you're infecting the Ram or anybody else, just to run him down when possible. So I think that's going to be a particular case.
Don't forget as well, Overwatch 2's anniversary is coming up, or is kind of in session right now. And also, isn't it almost like 10 years of Overwatch is a franchise too? I'm pretty sure it's close. It's going to be, what, next year?
Next year will be 10 years, yeah.
I wouldn't know the exact date. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, so that's going to be a big one. But Overwatch 2 anniversary is happening right now as well, with some fan favorite classics. I know they released some of the old metas they did before, and they're just re-releasing them. So you know what? Double Shield can be enjoyed yet again. Let's go. And these are some of the skins you can get as well from the Battle Pass, and some of the shop skins too. I have completed the Battle Pass, and the new Street Red Kiri skin, top tier, and the Soja Mythic as well. Yeah, you haven't unlocked that
I gilded mine on day one. Day one, 2018. I full dropped. I think it's 100 Mythic Prisms. Full gilded a Soja Mythic day one. So
nice. I like the iridescent.
It's very shiny.
I think that's my favorite colorway, if not it's the white, pink, and cyan colorway, which is another good color combo. Yeah, I think it's still the default one. And the Casty Mythic weapon as well, which is pretty sick. Yeah, that's some cool like finisher animations, which is pretty sweet. It's like a giant flame.
It literally turns on fire. It literally turns into a flaming.
Yeah, the gun like explodes and then it's like on fire. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm sure you've already seen it.
The shooting sound effect sounds like a cannon. It sounds like you're really shooting a hand cannon on that one. So you go from shooting just a regular 6 shooter to be like, oh my god, this is like a
they released the Nerf collab one, which is like, it's like the tiniest like pop. It's like but and then it's like boom, like a broadside cannon. It's pretty ridiculous. Like the disparity is kind of insane between those two skins. But yeah, make sure you go check that out.
Both. Right, I use the Nerf. I use the Nerf overall skin with the Cast Mythic just to get both in there at the same time, which like makes it's like the complete opposites of how it is. But it's nice. I do like to play a bit of Cast even with the reduced HP.
We'll get an ETA for you guys in a moment, but I do think we're just going to throw to a break quickly while Zera sorts out his audio issues. Again, apologize, but we're just to make sure everything is all good and ready for the players to go. And then hopefully no more pauses as we get into one of the most hype matches of week 3. So yeah, don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a bit. We're back. For real this time. I just finished my Northern Lion video, so yeah, I think we need to kind of carry the series on. Or even start the series. Avril, I'm going to be honest with you, this day is pretty cursed. But we are getting into the third series of the day. It is SSG versus Team Liquid. We're going to Ilios. It is going to be Ruins. And Infected was hovering the Ram. And I do believe now Zera has sorted the audio issues. So yeah, I do apologize for obviously all the pauses today. Tech issues happen. We're playing online. So yeah, there it is, really. Yeah, let's get into it.
Big day of overpause as we hopefully gonna get in. Not an internet issue this time, or a different, like you said, audio issue. But we got a sneak peek of what we were gonna get. I assume the teams will play the same thing. The ruling on that one is, I think, I don't know if they're forced to play the same thing. Maybe they'll change something now that a lot of time has passed. Maybe they'll change up the comps a little bit. I'm not too sure if I really like what TL's bringing out straight away for Ruins. This is a map that maybe not for Ruins, but on the later rounds, you want to see the ball probably coming through from Infected. No Diva here. There's a giant BAM targeted towards Hawk straight away, which I think both protects your ball, but really removes a strong dive option away from Space Station. So this would be the important round. If you're Space Station, you get to play Zarya right now when Zarya's not going to be good the other two rounds. This is an important round. Ruins has to be Space Stations, in my opinion.
All right, let's rock and roll. All right, doors are really going to unlock this time in 25 seconds. So actually, speaking of how this kind of interacts, the Ram and the Zarya, like obviously you're going to be fighting off a point control a lot of the time. The Zarya just wants to go. If you let Ram kind of just hang around, chill around, he's going to get so much extra value. I am fearful, like you said, if Space Station don't take this one, it's only going to get worse for Hawk.
So what Zera's real hero is going to be, I don't know if he's actually going to be playing over towards the Sim. We also saw Sugar Free, by the way, hovering over towards the Venture. He's no longer going to be doing that. So that's going to be the one major change. Double Traces, but it's 3 on a Hanzo. Now, we know long-range options are good on Ruins, but I just didn't think this would be the hero. And it's also so funny every time Tree plays Hanzo due to the name.
Yeah, firing logs. You get a +1 for that. Not quite a +2. Slowly but surely. But this is what this comp kind of does well, right? It's just kind of waiting for picks. Hawk's comp, Space Station, they want to be able to go fast. At least they knock down Infected to the point. Hawk's Nemesis form ends up backing up and actually taking quite a substantial amount of damage.
Now, this has been slow so far. Both teams just kind of feeling their way through the map. No one wants to really heavily engage, and Hawk's already taking a bunch of damage, so we're just turning the tides here.
Yeah, Nemesis form is going to get bobbed. 3 players from Space Station who carrying in that corner, and it's Zera that picks up the kill onto Chronic. And Infected, yep, despite the armor nerf, he's kind of chill on the low ground. Unfortunately, as soon as that Nemesis form ran out, Sugar Free was able to just laser him from the behind. And unfortunately now, Hawk can just kind of run amok in the back line. Although saying that, RuPaul hits him with a headshot, then a body shot, takes down the Zarya. The point not yet capped. But it is all on Zera now to try and force this Tracer away. Looks like CJ's going to fall, and Lucio next. Sent to the Shadow Realm now. As Zera and Infected are back on his case. Infected now switching over to Winston.
It might actually just be the game between Sugar Free and Zera, because they were the ones that get the respective first kills for both their teams. And as you mentioned, Infected, the cast has gone for Chronic's actually returned now. Chronic was on the Soj for a hot minute now, thinking, okay, there is a Winston. Let me play the cast one time. Let me make it work versus this pick. I didn't really believe in the ramp. He stayed alive for a while, dies. Maybe the Winston is going to end up being the better pick. So double support ultimates online for both teams now. Just about.
Pulse bombs coming up, though, for both Zera and Sugar Free was our head-to-head going into this series. And you can see why, like you said, a lot of early kills coming the Tracer's way. Hawk looking at Zera. Same with Sugar Free, though. Both Tracers kind of keeping each other in check, but there is the log. Tree connects with Chronic, and this slow style of play from Team Liquid really working out with that kill onto the Cass.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that range advantage there as well, Zera. Discipline holding onto Pulse, doesn't want to use it a little too early. This buys time for Liquid to catch Vega up in terms of ult charge, just slightly behind his compatriots' other Lucio on the other team. Hawking working his way over towards the Gravidon Surge. I mean, Team Liquid, you know, all of this, all the slowdown, there's 60% on the actual map itself.
I'd be so scared if I was left right now. Kind of peeking your head on that high ground. Tree's going to connect with another headshot. And Pin, both rushes used on the points. Sound barriers available for Vega and Lev. In fact, going dangerously low, but I mean, fight's already done. DPS down. Space Station needs to make a move. They need kills right this second. Otherwise, this fight is just going to fall apart for them. Hawk, no bubbles left to survive. And that double DPS kill, and then the soundbar coming in late for Lep is going to be their demise, and maybe the demise of this round too.
The round's over. I mean, the late kills call everything. Hawk can't.
And they've still got beat.
He wants to go something fast, but he's got to grab it. The beat's been saved for the grab, and that just shows the confidence. Vega didn't even counter beat Lep because he knows he'll save it for the grab.
Can't touch. Sugar Free couldn't touch. 26 HP, forced a recall, hoping someone else could get there. 100-0 for Team Liquid. And Avril, I'm just gonna put this out there right now. Remember what Christopher said: if they lose any point, they should be ashamed. So yeah, Liquid starting off with a bang.
I've attached myself to Christopher's cred here as well. I got the same cred as Christopher for both memes, and we'll see what happens. If I get it wrong, then it's a meme. If I get it right, then clearly I'm Nostradamus. You know how it works. So that kill, by the way, from Tree, that one headshot onto Chronic really set the stage in the later part of that map. You see how hard it was for Hawk to walk forward as well. I mean, the spam damage from Tree was quite immense. He's basically leaving the lobby right now, next to 0 in damage. Now the Hazard comes through. As I sort of mentioned, Hazard now has to be, with the absence of Eva, the most important flex pick. Sugar Free moving in towards the Fire, but Tree's pick on the Freya is going to cause some problems for that. Cronic's also going to be playing Freya. So no Trace.
Yeah, keeping Tree kind of in check here is going to be very important. High ground control, going to be pretty easy for Spacestation to take. Here's the kill. Yeah, Sugar Free onto Tree, not the other way around. Point unlocked.
Been getting a couple minute shots.
Good directs,
yeah. From Sugar Free.
Really nice from Sugar Free. Actually dominating Infected there as Chronic picks up the kill in the end.
What you don't want to see is, I mean, Zera's probably thinking about it. He's like, do I need to go Echo for this problem right now? But you don't want to see that because Zera can carry pretty hard on Tracer. He's uncontested essentially on the ground as a Tracer. There's no opposing Tracer at all. But this far is problematic.
Oh. Ends up taking a couple of shots there, but manages to get out anyway. And even helps CJ kill Infected. Another direct onto the Lucio. Still up, still alive, still kicking. I mean, CJ's keeping him up this whole time. He was sub 50 HP for the majority of that engagement.
It's a lot harder to pocket heal a Fire with a Kyrikan, let's say a Mercy. I'm not suggesting there should be a Mercy, but at this point, you're surprised that Sugar Free's living through all of this one. With Zera down, and that's always a potential risk. Tracer kind of gets dominated if you just cop a direct. Liquid are about to lose their lead here very quickly. I'm surprised they even got the lead considering how much pressure Sugar Free's had in the game.
Yeah, courageous attempt. Chronic now just dashing away to the point. High ground for Tree. Chronic's going to be, unfortunately, at a disadvantage here, and he's really feeling the pain now. Suzu comes in just in time to save him, but Tree ends up going down again. The one target they need to focus, and they're doing it so perfectly. Zera and Infected do end up trading, though, as CJ falls. Hawk's on the point, though, full HP. Infected so low, has to back off, slowing down the tempo of the fight again, enabling Spacestation to just culminate on the point and just take over.
Spacestation haven't lost enough that they're forced to use ultimates. They still held on to absolutely everything. And Pulse on the Hawk causes some problems. Here's the beat now. Forced in.
Beat comes in, hits 4. Hawk still low, and look at this dive here from Lep. He's going to get booped up eventually, but Sugar Free's going to come to the rescue. Infected cannot stick on Lep. Eventually, Sugar Free is brought down as Infected lays the mines down on the point. A few of them falling in the hole, but he got most of them there at the very least. Now Chronic under a little bit of pressure as Infected goes for a slam down on him, and RuPaul picks up the kill onto Chronic. So both DPS from Spacestation dealt with, but they are still not capping the point. A rush on the point for CJ as Spacestation Gaming continue to hold odds.
They have 4 ultimates here, and the rush is going to come in and maybe secure the entire map. Liquid is so far behind odds. Vega is at 84. RuPaul doesn't even have his first rush yet.
Unbelievable Suzu there from RuPaul as the barrage comes in for Sugar Free on the back of the back lines of Team Liquids. Eventually they're able to get kills, but a 99% flip here for Team Liquid. Just the tenacity coming through from Spacestation is looking good.
Now they're finally getting the punish here. This has been big. Spacestation pushed themselves to 99. I mean, Hawk just gets a full respawn, comes back in, and you're looking at the point and Team Liquid haven't flipped it yet. Sugar Free even went down for the first time. 2-0 there is so far in this round. Now it's been twice. The only good news for Team Liquid is they've been so slow in charging ultimates. Their double supports have finally got their first ultimates of the round.
Yep, double support off Team Liquid. Pretty big, as you mentioned. Their initial kills have come off the back of Hawk and Sugar Free.
CJ and Lep are going to have their next ultimates after RuPaul and Vega uses. Vega, gotta be careful there.
They're going in. 3-man sound barrier there for Team Liquid. The target is Chronic, but he just slips away. Zera cannot get up at that high ground into the Tracer. Just left completely isolated alone. Sugarfree is pretty low, though, and actually eventually goes down to Infected. Ends up just rolling him over. That's a good couple of kills, though, for Team Liquid. They stabilize.
It's a good thing for Team Liquid that they actually got those kills because it wasn't a pretty sound barrier. 3-man and didn't really allow them to get too much done with that one, but eventually finding the damage on a key player. Sugarfree now swapping off the fire onto the Tracer. They haven't forced the rush out of RuPaul yet. That's critical.
Oh. Chronic's in danger, though. He's going to get chased by Zera, but Zera super low in the feed. It looks like did manage to get the recall off in time. Sugarfree manages to touch the point for OT as the fight commences. RuPaul has got the rush, but Vega's already dead. There's still a bolus available from Tree as well. Sugarfree's forced to recall. There's the rush eventually used, but it might be too little too late. Spacestation got a 5-man sound barrier going on. The bolus ends up coming in from Tree, but it's already all over. Sugarfree's just going to run them all down as RuPaul and Tree bite the dust as Space Station look to lock down well. There's the kill onto Infected as the last trickling members of Team Liquid try and get there. But unluckily, they don't even get an OT touch. And 100-99 as Space Station tie up Ilios.
And it didn't feel like it. It felt like closer to a 100-0 or maybe like a 150. You barely felt the 99 from Team Liquid at all because they were behind considerably. Time and time again, fight after fight. The Sugarfree Fire dominating in the skies. And then guess what? He swaps over towards Tracer for the final fight. First kill instantly melts down Vega, then converts onto a couple of other members. You're already 5v4. Now you have double support ultimate advantage. RuPaul, he milked that rush for so long. He just holds on to it until his team only has 3 players left. It's a 3v5 now. Then he uses rush. But what he really needed, Vega to be alive there, both their players to be closer towards getting ultimates. Because as I mentioned, CJ and Left, they use their double ultimates. RuPaul Vega will finally get theirs. When we get to the final fight, it's CJ and Left that once again will get their secondary ultimates when Team Liquid are barely using their first.
This is a comp and a half here. Oh, left, CJ off. Okay, well, fight's done, unfortunately. This is a comp and a half here. Look at this. Sigma, Torb, Sim. They end up TPing to the point, and Infected just rolls through 5 and gets a double.
This is kind of like, I don't want to say poor man's Rhine, but like we've seen this.
It kind of is.
But just the Rhine version.
Yeah.
You TP to the point with the Rhine, and you set up all your turrets in there, and you just hold up shield and say, let's brawl. Except it's a Sigma version because it's an off-tank play. Look, Sigma is the signature hero of Hawk. If you were to ask him, I don't know if he still agrees with it now, but certainly in his career history, Sigma's been his _1 hero. I just don't think Sigma's good in the meta. That's the problem right now.
Oh, he goes for it again, and he gets the boop onto Sugarfree. Dude, he's just setting up for this over and over and over again. It feels like they know the exact way they want to play, and it's kind of obvious as well, right? You know this team wants to teleport to the point, so Infected just hangs around in the grapple, waits for the TP, and then bowls through as soon as he sees it happen. Because you can't fakey TP either.
He's waiting for the call from his team. He can just like hang on the grapple and the scaling. His team will say TP on this side, and he'll just get ready and just perfect timing straight on the exit of the TP. Sugarfree off the map. Hawk's like, okay, we're done. We can't do this anymore. We've attempted this TP shenanigan twice in a row. We've punished twice in a row to the point where Team Liquid have 3 ultimates now, and their supports have barely had time to heal, so they don't have those ultimates. The Space Station are essentially just on a brand new comp now, aside from the supports.
He's got mines already. Slamming down. Good slam onto left. Has to use Ampid up there, but the stick is gorgeous from Zera. Left down, rush on the point, but mines are going to match there. They at least kill RuPaul, sure, but Infected. He's spinning. And there is the bolus, and now guess who's in trouble? It's CJ, just trapped in a corner, nowhere to go, nowhere to teleport, and no Suzu in hand. Vega does end up falling, that is correct, but Space Station's still kind of limping in this fight. They're taking permanent damage now as Lep and CJ need to come back. Hawk is just so low, but somehow kept alive. He's 1 HP! Someone finish him off! Sugarfree ends up saving the day with 4 kills, and maybe even make that 5. Doesn't want to test RuPaul's mental there, but my goodness, Hawk survived through thick and thin, through 2 like world wars almost.
It was Sugar Free though. He not only got the 4 kills that we saw at the end, but he got more kills before that. So in terms of kills, that was like maybe 5 or 6. You're gonna have to check the tape on that one. It was ridiculous. Double support spell. Both RuPaul and Vega gone. So as I sort of mentioned there, Spacestation are like quote unquote losing the fight, for the war of attrition goes the way to them because they have supports and Hawk lives.
Sound barrier to match the rush. Vegas so low, can't use the beat right now. He's 1 HP. He's like heading towards the mega health pack. Beat comes in, connects with 5, and Chronic falls. The latest sound barrier here for Team Liquid working out a treat. And remember, they're 82% as well. Space Station Gaming, who are on the Sigma TP, like bunker down comp for most of this round, are now having to touch in OT.
Yep, they lost their first 50% because of that one. It'll be Sugar Free, but potentially Lep. Sugar Free just respawns a little late, so Lep's going to find it. He's been marked. He's been marked.
He has to get to the point in time, but look who's standing right in front of her right now. Vega looking for this boop. Sugar Free manages to get there, though. The savior of SSG once more comes in clutch. Now Hawk can just sit on the point. He has got the downpour in a couple of moments, but he needs to anchor here, and his team needs to come up with kills. Looks like they're going to try and reconvene on the point, but overtime is ticking. A slam down, a pulse bomb from Zera connects with the Raw, but Chronic and Lep end up going down. A pulse bomb from Sugar Free connects with Tree, and they at least find 1 kill, but the downpour found absolutely nobody on the side of Team Liquids. And now Infected could just lay the mines on the point, and they can do the rest as Team Liquid find the map win.
I'll tell you what. One round has in fact gone the way of SSG, no matter which way you slice it. So I don't know if Christopher's feeling happy about that one, but what he can't be too happy about is the fact that, man, that loss on Lighthouse really does hurt. And this is maybe a Christopher strat, because remember, what was the team that was most well known for these types of plays, these kind of bunker plays on Ilios, potentially on Lighthouse as well? It's the London Spitfire, TP onto point, set up your turret, set up your bunker, Hardy on Ryan, swing it away, and you just get that fortress in there. Christopher's trying to make it work with the Hawk version, with the Sigma in there, not quite the same. Up against Ball, Infected read that so well. Look at these highlights. He just plays it beautifully, perfectly. And if it wasn't for some heroics from Sugar Free, and also some clutch healing on the Hawk to keep him alive in those 1 HP moments, I don't know how much percentage points we really would have seen out of SSG at all. But still,
look at Sugar Free here.
Have to admit, it was a big push from SSG to really force the distance and make Team Liquid work for it. The surprising loss for me was 100-0 against the Zarya comp. I expected it more out of the Zarya comp from SSG on that one, on Rules.
Yeah, Sugar Free killed literal 5 people there. You saw at the very end, I think RuPaul TP'd to Vega. My goodness. I mean, Sugar Free is the carry for SSG. Kind of has been for a little while now, worth pointing out. God, what an absolute menace. And yeah, like you said, he was the savior there, but because the comp stuck on for so long, they were just such a big disadvantage. Control, it is a momentum game type. You could say that about most game types in Overwatch, but Control is a big one. The percentage chance that you win after capping first is very high. 113 limbs to 53. TL with the lead in the series, taking it early.
I mean, a 100-0 on Ruins will certainly be bolstering your stats by a lot. I think the one part to look at for TL is they're losing to the Fire. They might need to consider that. Although the Fire, I doubt would come back at any other map for this series. That was probably just an Ilios strat where it is a pretty decent Fire opening. Good news is Diva's available now. Can't be banned again. As I sort of mentioned, the Hazard needs to really work for Hawk, and he did as much as he could. He stayed alive, but didn't quite see the explosivity in terms of finding those picks that you would like to see out of a Hazard. Beyond that, though, they struggled with the ball. There needs to be a ball ban at some stage. The next ball map we get to, you could potentially see SSG themselves maybe going to a Suravasa, picking it out from underneath TL, because you know TL are going to want to go to Suravasa to play ball. You pick it first, you have first ban, instantly ban ball. That would be a good strat for SSG at some point. In fact, that could be the next map pick right now. They might want to do that right now. But they might just want to go to a more of a Zarya Reaper type of map where they can play on the ground, go to like a push map and just make that work right now. Have that Zarya be protected straight away.
Or Kings. Okay, yeah, there you go. Kings
That's
Row
a good,
for SSG.
great Zarya map. Amazing Zarya map.
All right. Then they can save the Wrecking Ball ban as well for later on, or like any kind of ban that Liquid kind of bring out.
You can save the Wrecking Ball ban, but unless you deploy it on the correct map, it doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to see, you probably not going to see Wrecking Ball on, say, like a Junket down. So, oh, we saved the ban, but now we're in the wrong map. They're not going to play it anyway. Obviously, the Winston ban comes on through. It's targeting Infected here. Simultaneously going to be protecting the Zarya. The Lucio ban is going to be enabling the Wu Yang. So what I've sort of noticed between these two teams, TL really wants to play the Wu Yang. They kind of like, as we just sort of saw in the previous game there with Ultraviolet on GK wanting to always play the Wu Yang. Vega really wants to play that. But the opposite is true. SSG don't want to play the Wu Yang. Their Wu Yang player so far has been Left, and Left is more comfortable than Lucio. Basically, every single game for SSG has been Lucio Kiriko. So removing the Lucio here is a pretty big deal. More than that, knowing that SSG is probably going to play Zarya, taking away the Lucio in what would be a brawl comp is a pretty big deal as well.
Infected, happy to run the Wrecking Ball. But this setup from Team Liquid, we've seen, I mean, even in the opening highlights, we saw Tree with that crazy flick on the Hanzo. No stranger to the Hanzo on King's Row defense. And this setup is going to be such a pain to actually break as well. RuPaul on Ana, and then Vega can just play the opposite high ground, play with the Wu Yang. It's going to be so hard to actually get it in there and separate the team.
Ana is really nice on the defense here as well. Even on the offense, I think this is a great Ana map. Much more difficult to flank. We'll see what Sugar Free ends up playing here. Ironically, I think a Pharah would actually be pretty good for Sugar Free, and Pharah is a little viable on King's Row, definitely on A. It's going to be a Diva start for Hawk. I was thinking the Zarya, but he's going to go Diva instead.
Oh, they're going to sim TP. That's how they're going to deal with this Ana.
A TP Diva, yeah. So Ana is pretty vulnerable to this. You can just rush down to Ana right now with this play, if you can find the Ana. Already false on the low ground.
Yeah, RuPaul instantly went choke. They know where the Ana is, though. You can see the shots coming off. Currently in Hotel. They flip the map. Waiting for the TP again, but RuPaul's waiting for a nade. As soon as they drop, he can sneak it past this. He's going to go for a big nade here. Well, I don't know where everybody went. I don't think RuPaul knew either. And it looks like, well, they're in Tree's LOS. Sugar Free ends up teleporting the rest of the team onto Tree and killing the Hanzo.
RuPaul needs to run. He's super vulnerable to TPs here. I mean, yes, he can splash a nade, but it doesn't matter if you just get run down, which he's now been run down. So they've been hunting RuPaul the entire time. They got Tree as a constellation player, so now returns on a Gen.G. We'll see what RuPaul returns on. Maybe a Kiriko instead. Team Liquid might just shift into full dive here. There it is.
Yeah, the Kiriko, yeah, makes the most sense here. You're just going to get chased around like this. Chronic in a nice spot, though. Waiting for Infected around the corner. Hello, we can hear you. Yeah, I've got audio, don't worry.
Do note that Lep has stayed on the Juno here, so sort of talked about the fact that Lucio being banned, what you sort of play here. And, well, we've seen on the EMEA side, Crispy goes Juno, Lep agrees. Now Chronic will just follow through with Spacestation half-point control.
Juno definitely feels like a fairly safe pick for Lep here, like you said. Nice A take, though, and Infected off the ball. Yeah, ball really not good on point B. Going to the Ram instead.
Which is a great matchup into the Diva. So well played on that one. And Hawks now too committed on the Diva to swap for the time being. So Ram and a Diva is very classic. Punching through Matrix is going to be there. Also holding ground in King's Row, and a map where you're not going to have to worry too much about what's happening behind you. Just focus front to back gameplay. Front to back is so good for Ram. But the ultimate's starting to come online for Spacestation. Note, because of some of these swaps, only Zero and Vega have ult charge. And of that, Vega's really far behind.
Zero, the Pulse Bomb in hand. You're going to have to get it past Hawk's mech first. I'll be fairly easy, though, as the rush gets laid out for Space Station on the streets. Zero's going to just touch the point for a brief moment there, stopping Space Station from pushing, but their toe splits. It's a 2-3 split right now with Team Liquid. They're playing this main street, but Infected cannot stand up to this duress. Oh, nice Pulse Bomb, though. Ends up getting Suzu'd. Oh, Chronic. Straight in the face of Infected, and that is one dead Ramatra. That was a nice stick. Zero, though, ends up getting the Tidal Blast, killing Chronic. I don't think he even hit the floor there. I think he just gunned him down in the streets. Space Station Gaming are going to back up, yeah, or at least slowly play this now, or try to.
Well, Zero's still in play. He's just playing around the bar at the moment. Little pod. Trying to see what angle he can find the back line. Blades available. Like I sort of said, Team Liquid behind in ult charge because they had so many swaps compared to Space Station. So despite an Infected falling, it doesn't seem like it's enough. Orbital Ray should be this fight too.
Yeah, Orbital Ray on this point as well. It's going to be so hard to actually contend with. Looks like Zera's up on the high ground, but Chronic just quickly whips around and kills Zera. Orbital Ray used. There's no chance you win this fight. You need some incredible heroics here from Infected, but it's just too much damage and healing. And that is going to be point B unlocked. Space Station 4.5.
Yeah. Liquid have just been snowballed, I should say, by Space Station Gaming here. who held onto their comp, played through well, played through a Kitsune Rush, which forces Liquid back. Liquid and then split, like you sort of mentioned there, although Liquid can get unsplit very quickly. They just didn't have the opportunity to really do anything with Infected, who is soloed by Chronic, despite the heroics of Zero. Being bubbled by Vega wasn't enough to win the subsequent fights, and now a ton of time, more than 4 minutes to finish this map. This is also where Team Liquid can really dig in their heels. C is a different animal, it's a different beast entirely.
No space to use this rush though. There we go, instantly used, although already RuPaul sent extremely low. Blade's gonna get popped by Tree. They can get traded. CJ chased down, who's on the enemy high ground. Should be a fairly trivial reset here for Hawk. Though he doesn't actually end up just dunking himself. I'm surprised he didn't just fall off the map there. It's gonna be...
Ooh, 49.
Oh,
Yep,
Susie.
barely.
No, not quite. Susie ran out, and so did Hawk's mech. He's just going to try and int in.
He wanted to min-max. I respect him for it. He wanted to be able to just retain the mech, not have to cop a respawn by dropping in the hole. That will cost him some time, and that's what Team Liquid need, because 4 minutes is a lot for SSG to push through. However, it's starting to get a little bit difficult here, as once this defense on C really digs in their heels, and this payload, as you can see, starts sliding back. I've seen many teams push into C with a lot of time and still end up playing the cap because of how strong the defensive advantage on this King's Row C can be, particularly now that Team Liquid have started to rotate into some ultimates. Ram is
going to try and TP.
now.
They're going to try and TP this high noon up the high ground. Tidal Blast attached to Trigger. Jumps up. Oh, the explosion dodged by Chronic. He ends up TPing back down. Ramatra, Infected, has to use this Annihilation, but just gets focused by Hawk and the rest of the players of SSG who are on high ground right now. Spacestation Gaming, they managed to split Team Liquid too, split the focus entirely. RuPaul couldn't teleport away as Chronic now just hunkers down in the Mega Health Pack room as Team Liquid, Admiral, they're circling the drain.
And Infected have swapped the Diva here as well. And by the way, the Tidal Blast caught three players of Space Station end up being knocked over, and still Liquid couldn't convert any of that into meaningful picks. And now this could be the final push. A lot of big ultimates coming online, double support ultimates on top of wall.
How can you fight against this though? This wall is split the map completely. Zera ends up getting focused down despite having the pulse bomb in his hand. As Desperation Hills on Infected, who switched over to the Diva. Tree lands one headshot, but no, the beam way too powerful from Sugar Free. And Space Station cap third with 1 minute and 54 seconds in the time bank.
And this is looking like a decent Space Station map now. That is, like you say, a very, very nice time bank indeed. They just held on to their ultimates, played up against the Tidal Blast of Vega, which it didn't end up unfortunately doing enough. In Space Station, keep that push moving. Photon Barrier into double support ultimates, and as you say, that's just how do you play against it? That is so difficult, but so much of this map was the snowballing from A through B and then eventually onto C, despite there being at least one reset there where Team Liquid did win a fight, but they needed so much more. 4 minutes plus on the time back to get to the end. Space Station, I think 2 minutes all the time back to be able to finish with 154. Very commendable. A lot of teams would probably still finish with less than that. Up against a defense that actually does win a fight, a single reset starts to cause some real big problems. But yeah, I don't think Team Liquid were just ready for the Diva TP play, which is a very aggressive TP composition, and RuPaul knew straight away he was in big trouble.
Yeah, if you're Team Liquid there as well, you're thinking, well, we got Tidal Blast, we can attach it to Zera, we can have him dash in, maybe hit hit Chronic or Sugar Free, someone that's pretty squishy, we can get a kill. And they ended up deploying it as a defensive measure, and like you said, even though it ended up hitting a couple of people, Infected was stranded on an island, had to pop Annihilation, got focused down because that high noon was almost fully charged on him.
There's going to start on the Widow here. I don't know for how long. I can't imagine for too long. Anyone knows for the Widowmaker.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
I sort of set this up a little earlier, but it is going to happen now. Space Station will be playing the Zarya composition, and Infected's response today. It seems like Infected's response to Zarya in general today has been to go towards the Ram, although he also did play this versus the Diva, which is a natural thing that you would want to do. Chronic also playing over towards the Soj is an interesting choice.
Really like the Hanzo from Tree. Yeah, he's just kind of keeping Chronic in check right now, although still with a charged railgun, something to fear.
Hanzo particularly strong on King's Row, given how narrow all the points are, all the geometry is, but even on A, Alderworth Hotel, instant clear. Point, very fast clear. Archway, very fast clear on Dragon Strike alone. Very important here is to take a look at where Hawk's positioning is, because if he falls down, it's very hard to keep high ground again.
Okay, Sugar Free goes down. Off screen. And now the flank can commence. Oh, Zero's one. He seals. He's going to get a little bit. Probably going to pick up the health pack. Slowly but surely, they're making their way to the high ground, but it's taking a while, and they're not actually putting any pressure on the point. Eventually, Zero steps up.
I think this is going to come down first off. The Chronic Slate, by the way, is that a possibility of a kill? I have to find out. The CJ is going to get first ult here. That's going to be where this really breaks open for Space Station or anybody. Liquid's finally getting a tick. SG need to act.
They might just get a second one here. Maybe Hawk jumps down. Here's the rush available now. The touch ends up coming in, but not for too long. CJ ends up using the rush on the high ground, though. Actually uses it backwards. It's going to make good use of it for himself, but is it actually enough? Well, Infected's just going to run everybody down now with that ult, and, well, with the nano boost applied, and yeah, that high ground rush not really working out for Space Station at all. Not even used on the point there, Ab.
No, that's confusing to me. I think that he wanted to, and by the way, using it backwards means maybe he's expecting that Liquid got to push in and they could just backtrack into the ult. I'm not too sure. Like, that one is strange. Using it on top of Hawk to allow Hawk to rush in, but unless there's no further follow-up. I mean, you see Team Liquid, they just go downstairs from the high ground, turn the corner. Hawk follows into his death. No further support. Katsuna Rush doesn't go down there. So Space Station were waiting. They lose 2 ticks, waiting for first ult, which was Rush, and the Rush just doesn't give them any value.
Dragon Strike available from Tree now can clear out these tight angles, like you were mentioning before. Packed health pack too. The Sonic health pack is kind of crazy. Oh, time to blast straight on top of RuPaul and knocks him down. Free stick, and Sugar Free does it again. RuPaul dead, and Annihilation is going to get popped by Infected here as well as Zero popping that blade. And yeah, wrong place, wrong time, Hawk, unfortunately. Zero with 1 reset, looking for a second. Just kind of dancing around everybody now, just drawing the ire of Space Station Gaming as a team kill comes through and the point moves through second.
Vega also popped Tidal Blaster as well, allowing Team Liquid to just trade entirely. And well, with the extra Dragon Blade in there, Team Liquid will get the clean up. Space Station now making some swaps. Now moving over towards the Juno. Now, Let really doesn't want to play the Wuya, as previously discussed here by me. It's just, based on his previous games, he's moved away from it. I suppose with the lack of the Lucio, having some speed boost for the Zarya may be useful. That said, Infected, he's on a raw gear as well. Doesn't really care about the speed.
They got grab. Dragon Strike creates some space. Faker goes down. Look at this flank right now from Chronic. Oh, perfectly timed though by Tree. Had the Sonic Arrow on the corner. Chronic revealed, instantly headshots. There's a rush on the point as well, as now Hawk can just play as close as he wants to Infected. He's got infinite bubbles pretty much. They're going to be able to hold on for the time being, and they save their grab. Although Lep ends up going down to Zera, who's into spawn right away. A nice little hint today, but can he actually come up with the kill? He does! Wow. Zera just solos 2 people in Space Station spawn. They've got the grab on Surge, but Hawk, this is going to be a desperation play if he used it, and he's not even going to. Space Station just run over there. Heroics from Zera on the Gen.G.
I should see Hawk's POV. He couldn't find a grab opportunity at all, and now Team Liquid, they do have less time, but still enough. Let's see how they do with the listening.
You want Gen.G or we Gen.G first?
Oh, let's looking we Gen.G first.
Wing first.
I know wing, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, you'll get it. We're gonna take it slow.
They TP top, TP top.
Zarya. Figure out.
I have.
Zarya one.
Making you.
Main, Zarya one main.
Zarya, figure out.
I'm on Zarya. Kill Zarya.
Kill Zarya, right? Oh, man. Oh, you guys gotta kill.
Yeah, Zarya died.
Nice, good job.
Can live, just play life.
Yeah, we're living. They really fucking infected. That's fine.
I'm living. Careful.
So. Can fight?
Yeah,
We're pushing point.
They have stim wall soon. We should nano ram.
Cast high.
Cast one.
I'm breaking TP.
Hey, listen, I think we can fight the sim wall. We have nano. We have Ramble.
Okay.
Yeah, we can nano. Let's nano ram this fight.
Okay, Sign main. 3, 2, 1. Clear TP.
Someone. Similarly one.
Pass in.
We can live.
I can get point. Kill Zarya.
Very fine. Very half. Trigger yourself. Come point.
I can push him in the gun.
I can't kill him.
Leave him.
Really can't kill him.
Point.
Really can't kill him. He's really wonderful. We kill. Big, I'm not with you. Go.
We're good.
Good job.
Nice. Holy fuck.
I think we should just say this on defense.
You don't need a plan if Tree just hits 2 giant logs like that for all to like, okay, we're going to Wu Yang the Gen.G. Okay, that kind of worked out. And then it's like, okay, now we can just, they've got wall. We can just nano the ram. And then Tree just killed CJ, kills another. And then Hawk just has to use the grab on the back line. And then Vega and RuPaul just pocket each other. Unbelievable stuff there from Tree. If it's not Zera, it's Tree. This Team Liquid DPS line is just perfect.
Yeah, and then Zero at the end there, taking the nano through, blading into the back line, and it's all over. Hawk nowhere to be found. On the wrong side of the map. You can even hear in the comms there, Liquid like, just ignore him. It's fine. He's not going to do anything. Ignore him, put him there. Hawk eventually, I think he just wipes himself to death just to respawn, because he's stuck. He's literally just stuck. His team is dying on the actual point itself, despite popping down the photon barrier towards the end there. Dragonblade does not care about that at all. Perfect way to play into that final moment in the final ultimate. And we have now a slightly greater time bank for Liquid. It's not by a lot, but both teams have managed to speed their way through the entirety of the offense. But I think if you're Space Station, you're more upset about this in terms of how your defense went than Team Liquid. Team Liquid defense was pretty rough. The Space Station, the way that ended on C was extremely rough.
Yeah, just 2 giant kills from Tree. I mean, Zera set that second point up with a double kill in the spawn, and then Tree sets up the last fight with a double kill on the Hanzo. Like, yeah, insane stuff from Team Liquid. Well, Space Station can do the same thing again here, but a different TP location, straight on top of the Wu Yang instead this time as Vegas chased away. Ends up using that Guardian Wave to get away and create some space for himself, and actually manages to slip out of there. Zera, though, not quite so lucky. Actually dove into a few of them, but Tree is just going to clean up the rest. The scatter arrow kill onto Sugar Free, too. He just fires that into the room. Looking like Overwatch 1 out here. My goodness. And now Hawk's going to get staggered as well. This is a horrible stagger with this time bank left.
You really need to do this as well, because you lost a couple players, given the fact that Team Liquid also got traded, and the respawn is longer. Just don't mind the HUD there. Team Liquid is in fact on defensive spaces on attack as well, so we'll just swap those over in a minute. The game will just swap over in a minute too, because it seems like the attack will basically be over. But with that stagger, Team Liquid back up to full fighting force on 5. First ultimate, by the way, in these moments, very critical, because we're about to hit OT.
Infected pretty close to 75% already on that Annihilation. TP from CZ used the Suzu, but still critical health members on his screen, desperately asking for heals. But Tree, again, from this angle, just using Storm Arrows in the small corridor. That's it. It's 30 seconds to go. Let the last one up here, and Hawk is demeched again. They are going to stagger him at least a little bit, but now it's desperation touches for Space Station.
And all these ults, they're going the way of Liquid. A final Dragon Strike to just put the cherry on top after all is said and done will be too much.
Use it in
Space Station. Yeah, they're almost being spawn camped. This is basically spawn camp right now. And they need to touch.
5 seconds. They're going to at least be a little bit speedy here with Hawk on the Diva, but he's going pretty low. Oh, the headshot from afar too. And oh, he got demeched. No retouch. A demec from Zera and Infected. Oh no, Space Station don't get a single tick. Those kills coming through from Tree on the Hanzo were ridiculous.
Man.
Putting a very literal thorn in the side, an arrow-shaped thorn into Space Station Gaming's plans. They want to go for this aggressive TP, either to, well, through choke or to the high ground, and they've got thwarted twice.
You and I saw this last stage as well. I remember the two of us watching and casting these Team Liquid games. I believe it was specifically against GK the couple times they got to play each other in the playoffs. And one of the ways that Team Liquid got past back then, it was a Life of a Bat composition. Tree went Hanzo. And he got it done. The Hanzo from Tree was the tool. And now he's bringing the Hanzo back on this map, onto King's Row. The Space Station are just not surviving against it. It is doing so much damage, having so much impact. And we'll look at that last moment on the OT of the time bank and say, okay, Hawk demeched, no further touch. I'm going to be real, I don't think they were going to get a tick. After Hawk gets demeched, let's say the Baby Diva touches, all the ults are in Team Liquid's favor.
Right.
Everything just kind of goes in Team Liquid. I'm pretty sure it was done. So Space Station saved us probably another 30 seconds of watching them get slaughtered on that highest point with no mech available. Now, a single tick required, and Tree is hunting for his first kill.
I mean, it's only a matter of time, right? He's got 2 minutes to do it in. Come on. Surely. And he has Scatter Arrow too. Just saying.
Hawks even on the ram here, just not even trusting the Zarya is going to be enough. Certainly struggled. Just getting pinged out by arrows downrange. Sugar Free on towards the Reaper for knowing that it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath on the point. They want to have good point presence, which Ram and Reaper will give you.
All right, he's going to try and check Infected, who's found his way to the high ground. Although, yeah, a small shot to the back of there. That's, what, 5 damage, if that? Quick TP onto the Wu Yang, but yeah, Vega's out of there. With the Reaper, especially without someone like a Lucio, it's so hard to lock people down. Infected now pressuring the point, taking a quite considerable amount of damage there, actually, from Hawk. Forced to pop the Nemesis form, but Zera's already found a kill. A reflection kill onto Chronic, a good TP from RuPaul, putting him in the line of sight of Infected, and it's all over. Space Station Gaming lose control of the point, and Team Liquid find match point.
Yeah, I was going to say a much more convincing map, but honestly, it was still a good one from SSG, and that just might end up being the story of the series today. It's been a good look from SSG. They got a singular round on that opening Ilios, which is pretty damn good. That fire play was nice for Sugar Free. You get to this map as well, and it's like both teams go into time bank with about 2 minutes. So both teams really had quite an awesome offense, but you really saw the difference being made in terms of how that C point was capped. It was a decent amount more difficult for the side of SSG on their attacking side, whereas on Team Liquid, you mentioned this, it starts with the Zera massive flank into the spawner. SSG gets himself a 2K, which enables the beat cap, but then after that, Tree, I think that, okay, they did lose one fight, but aside from that, then Tree gets a double pick on that Hanzo. Zero takes the Dragon Blade into the backline. Hawks literally in the middle of nowhere. You look at how that ends, you're thinking, man, SSG are looking rough on their defense, and unfortunately, that continued for them into the time bank. It was a super one-sided time bank.
Oh, look at this solo kill as well. Chronic just can't land that final shot. And Avril, I want to bring up something we talked about at the very top of this series about the maps and the bans. Like, this series is going to be decided by that. SSG picking this map. They go to King's Row because they know it's better for Hawk, especially with the hero pool. Can play Zarya, can play Diva. We saw that for this Ram. And to be fair, Tree and Zera too. Tree's famous Hanzo on King's Row, it just does them in. And I agree, it has been a very close series so far, despite obviously Liquid being a two maps up currently. But where do they go from here? Because the game modes are getting slimmer and slimmer, and your ban pool as well that you can pick from is also getting slimmer to try and target Team Liquid.
So Lucio Winston was banned the previous map. We've already lost Diva and Wu Yang. The Zarya ban could still come on through, although, I mean, just looking at the Zarya on this map, this should have been the Zarya map.
Yeah.
And they couldn't quite win it. With that being said, they still... If you just ignore the time bank, we just look only in regulation time King's Row, it was a very, very close map. It's the time bank that sort of sways the opinion and be like, ooh, okay, that is quite brutal for SSG. But overall, ignoring the time bank, very close map. Moving away from this, I still think playing into Chronic's hero pool is important. So we haven't played a super long range map yet. That might need to come under consideration. Hanzo, while strong for Tree, does have some issues of the map of, like, I don't know. I mean, we did see Hanzo on Jungle Town in our previous game as well, but I just think it's like, it's hard to be that consistent when the range is super, super, super long, right? So that might be a consideration.
You say that. Say that. I don't think it matters. Here's my take. I think Zera and Tree right now are the best DPS in North America. Not only, obviously, cracked out play, but also the flexibility too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we can just go towards, like, even the Freya or something like that, which I'm sure is what Chronic wants to do. Chronic wants to play Freya. He's desperate. That's been his best hero for the last 2 stages of the year so far. He wants that lock it in. And you can lock yourself into some Overwatch League skins from 2020 Pacific, 2020 Atlantic for Diva and Ryan. A Rock Climber Zarya from, I believe that was, it might have been a 2023 skin if I remember correctly.
Yes. I think it was one of the last skins they released. Yeah.
Both got a skin off that. And then, of course, the Widowmaker skin from 2021. And she did more. I remember that one from 2021 because it was probably the best Overwatch League skin from 2020. Aside from the Shanghai skin, of course.
Of course. Well, Here's the maps on your screen, and SSG have picked Rialto. They're also going to
Diva map.
ban first, but yeah, a Diva map here for Hawk.
Diva's safe because Diva's already been banned earlier, so you don't need to worry about that.
Oh, Widow's
Focus will be
ban
the
from
ball ban.
TL.
The ball ban and Widow man. So Widow is just going to be here to make sure that Chronic's not going to try anything funny. Make sure that Chronic is in fact going to be playing the Fray, which I think is going to be the more safe pick here, or potentially even a Soj, depending on where we are.
Yeah.
But Winston is going to end up being the game plan for Infected here. This is interesting because ball ban would have been more useful on a Suravasa, but I think SSG, they're concerned about whether they can make it deeper in the series. So they're looking for a good map win right now, and they're thinking this is it. I wouldn't have hated a Hanzo ban here. Just like, it's time to just target Tree because he did too much. He did a little too much, so I wouldn't have hated that either.
All right, let's load in. Could be the third and final map here. It's Team Liquid taking SSG to maybe only 3. SSG want to take it all the way to 5, and maybe the predictions of Team Liquid's strength are coming to fruition, but it is the defensive Winston. And again, this is the kind of stuff we saw on Kings, right? RuPaul can just play the Ana so far back. Like, this flex support lineup too is just so clean.
You can't get TP'd upon. If it's a Diva TP strat again,
that is true.
RuPaul is in trouble. So that is always going to be the consideration. The Space Station have attack advantage where they can change comps and counter comp any way they want to. And of course, Tree is going to stick on to the Hanzo, which has just been working out so, which is why I'm saying like Hanzo ban literally might be warranted given his level of performance. And the TP Diva strat straight away, RuPaul now needs to have to be extremely careful.
The TP, yeah, like you said, it's going to make Infected's life a little bit of a pain as well, taking those right clicks, but we'll see where Sugar-Free wants to place the team. Tree, though, can get some early information with the Sonic. Oh, don't do it to him again, surely. He almost got that kill, actually, onto Sugar-Free as he tried to make his way towards that low ground.
The first TP been used. Oh, they're looking for a play, but it's actually...
Oh, they got him. Yeah, Vega in trouble now as well as Hawk chases after him. RuPaul, though, kills CJ. Bit of a mess, but they're all hanging around that teleporter. A quick escape button can be pressed, but Hawk chasing up. That is a really nice TP.
There's some late deaths here as well. RuPaul's going to stay on the Ana for now. Halfway towards an Ana boost would be very important for enabling your Winston, which Infected wants to play in. Without the ball, this is going to have to be it. So one last contest to play into it. CJ and Lep are more close to their ultimates, which will be very important yet. About to reach first ultimate. Tree hasn't done enough damage so far to really put himself in a position to Dragon Strike to save this one.
But this is such a good spot, actually, for the Hanzo and the Ana, to be fair. The Ana can sit so far back. Well, Tree's on a nice little off angle, but Infected's already dead. Okay. The 5-mana Space Station just run at the Winston and pick up the kill, and there goes the cap. So despite having a nice positional advantage for Team Liquid, Infected just gets blown up.
There it is. Space Station Gaming are doing a good job just navigating through the TP plays, snowballing their way across the map. Infected being the player that actually land on is very curious. Must have been flashbanged and they just burned. And of course, RuPaul not in a position to save with a nano. Might have been blocked out in terms of damage as well, or rather healing LOS onto Infected. Not too sure what the nade was.
There's Nano.
Now the Nano's going to come in.
Oh, hello. Counter dive there onto the teleport. Beautiful stuff, but I think damage is done. Tree and Chronic end up trading sound barrier for Lep as Infected looks for another target. A pulse bomb from Zera connects with Sugar-Free as Zera now just chasing everybody up. That was really intelligent and Infected there. He ends up dropping out of the window, going back through the door, looking for the teleport. Sugar-Free and the rest of the gang TP up to high ground to try and catch the backline of Team Liquid. And Infected earns himself a Primal Rage for that too.
Space Station made that cheap though, and Hawk looks like he's gotten out alive, so he doesn't lose his mech, isn't forced to remake, doesn't get staggered. They only use the sound bite, which I don't actually think hit Chronic. Now the
blast on Zera. Everybody TP'd away, and see you later. That attaching to the Tracer, normally such a good play, and a recall straight into a bullet between the eyes there as Zera goes down to Chronic. Okay, Space Station are online on Rialto.
Because Infected dies that late, I mean, you now have to consider how you're going to touch this one and recontest. You just may have a cap right now. I don't know if Team Liquid can really do much about this. Tree's going to go in.
Not touch. I knew. TP. Oh, what was this?
He actually had a shot.
Yeah, Zera got booped in actually by Hawk. Might not matter though, Vega's already dead. Primal Rage for Infected. moving everybody away from that teleporter, but he's just getting burned, Avril. There's just no health left remaining. He doesn't even get to the mega health back. This is another kind of speed run, I'm going to be honest. Look at the time bank.
Yeah, this is going to have to be an incredible Team Liquid. Not only defense for the remainder of the map, but offense, because to match this, it's going to be tough. Infector's going to go towards Ram. You don't need to play dive. Probably not that good on the final point anyway. He's actually going to go Zarya. You know what? Zarya the D.Va, obviously, the bronze strats, they work here. Ram and the D.Va is probably more in Infector's wheelhouse. Haven't seen much of Infector and Zarya, so this is going to be curious in terms of what it's going to bring to the table. The Nano's going to be there as well. Might be a Nano Blade. Tree's not far off.
Just needs a little bit more poking, and RuPaul a little bit more healing. Such a nice corner to play on as well for the Zarya. Of course, very good against the D.Va, as always. Zero could open this up with a pulse bomb as well. Nano boost applied to Tree. Has got the blade, waiting for the teleport, and there it is. Straight to the back line for Tree. Lep ends up pooping him away, though, but a good little reflect actually causes him to get the reset. Beautiful kill onto Sugar Free, and a third onto Chronic.
You see how he waits for the TP as well. Takes the Nano, dashes in. Instant TP coming on through from Sugar Free, and then blades afterwards to get the dash reset to then confirm everything else. And the speed boost was there by Lep as well. I think the boot was there as well, but not enough to stop Tree to find Team Liquid.
He got the reflect kill onto Lep. He was one.
It's the first team fight when they've had so far on this defense, and they need so much more of this, because Space Station, a good time on Rialto. Rialto is a much more difficult map to cap than King's Row. Might steal the map.
Yeah. Liquid's ult bank right now looking like my bank account pretty empty, as Space Station Gaming have a whole heap of them. Both DPS ults, they've got the beat, they've got the wall, they're just going to run this over. I mean, there's nothing really you can do here. Let with a couple, High Noon on the point for Chronic as they sail this one in. Space Station with, for Rialto's, a 2 minute and 55 is absurd.
It's fast, it's incredibly fast. I think, like, you know, if you, anyone that's seen a lot of Rialto, anyone that's played a lot of Rialto, to get this time back on Rialto, you are very much speeding your way through the entire map. And considering that Space Station only lost one fight as well, I mean, Jesus,
yeah.
Team Liquid have to do something special here. We're seeing now twice in a row this TP D.Va strat coming on through on the attacking side of Space Station, working wonders. 2 minute time back on the King's Row with it. 255 time bank now on Rialto with that comp. And I think Liquid didn't respect it enough. RuPaul starts on an Ana knowing that he is potentially targeted. He wasn't even the first one down.
Right.
You just have very targetable backline members if you're going to play into a team that you know has run this strat. And beyond that, he stays on the Ana for a long, long time. Infector's getting melted there as well. The Nano super delayed. Team Liquid never get a tempo fight on their terms. Tree's not really delivering the shots. I think if you have a situation where Tree can just find a random headshot on a TP exit, that might alleviate any pressure for Liquid to turn things around. Didn't happen. Has to stop the Gen.G. Made the Nano Blade work, but that was only one fight.
Yeah, getting those tempo nades, I think, is kind of an important factor in this matchup. And with the teleport, it's classic, you know, Ana nades the TP as people come through, but Hawk's holding Matrix perma as soon as he goes through that teleporter. So any kind of incoming fire, sleep darts, nades, or whatever, completely eaten up. We'll see how they do now. It's Tree kind of deciding what he wants to play. Hovering the Echo. Okay, back to the Hanzo.
Yeah, scouting report to see what's on the other scene. See if he needs to potentially look towards Echo. Fire is like playable here, so you can consider that, although head scan is strong, so maybe not. Knowing that Chronic is on the Freya, he's got a challenge with the Hanzo, of which he's delivered on that multiple times. Not on that last defense. Can he do it now on the offense on A?
Yeah, both the Hanzo and the Freya just kind of exchanging arrows and bolts. Got a good little bit of wall hacks there.
Oh my god!
He does it again! Man, that's the second time Chronic's been caught midair by Tree.
I'm pissed if I'm Chronic. That's
yeah,
rough.
I'd be. Oh,
you know what?
that was
The difference is
that was a nice shot on left too.
You get a Sonic and the Freya doesn't get a Sonic, so you know what angle you can put the arrow in when they peak. That's the difference. And I think if you're Freya, if you're Chronic, you have to respect the Sonic. He's respecting it so much, he's just not even going to play Freya anymore. This is rough for Chronic because that's his best hero. He wants to use the Freya as much as possible. He's not going to be allowed to.
Dude, Tree is a monster. Highlight reel worthy on this hero, seriously. Yeah, good luck against Tree here, especially at that range.
CJ's got ult, so does RuPaul, just about. Timing on this is going to be important. And in
he's
this
hunting for a
narrow
pick.
area of the archway as well, Tree dropping in a Dragon Strike might be what is required to cap.
They're just hunting for a pick. There's the rush. Return one as Chronic rolls away. But look at Hawk's mech already dead. Yep. And it's just going to go from bad to worse here. Asuzu on to Chronic. But there's the Dragon Strike. Going to split the team. And CJ teleports into his demise.
You could see that Tree was even considering holding it. He's like, we already got the D-Mech. Surely we win off the D-Mech itself. But for safety, doesn't want to waste too much time. Drop in the Dragon Strike. You want to make sure you maximize your time bank here, which I think is very important considering the 255 speed run that Space Station got. And Tree's hitting enough shots, and I'm sure he'll be able to farm that one up. Or considering a flank, but we'll consider better.
It kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the top of this map, Avro, as well. You were like, you know, Hanzo ban might not be too bad, actually. Like,
I said it.
Seeing the case for it right here.
Yeah, he's doing too much on it. You know, you got at some point you got to target something that you're doing a little too much.
That's a very early TP from CJ, and Ledwick just takes like 2 body shots from Storm Arrows. Oh, he's gonna hit this one surely, isn't he? Whoa, Sugar Free, he's so scared of this guy right now. Well, the Primal Rage is gonna deal with it. All the meanwhile, they were looking at Tree, the unkillable demon on the Hanzo. Even a self-destruct thrown in by Hawk, thinking maybe it can actually continue this fight on. This fight's done.
Space Station don't have a good opening here. It's not like they have a blade. It's not like they have a Kitsune Rush, which was used in the last fight. You don't want a tempo beat either. Not that Leth has it yet, because you want to save it for the blade from Zera. So what do? You will open with Deadeye. Doesn't seem that good. Seems pretty vulnerable. You don't have a TP this time to TP your Deadeye around. You can get deflected. Tree can just headshot you. So there's no good opening.
Good beat.
They just have to take neutrals.
Beat Blade, and Zera saves the dash there as they just walk on to Space Station Gaming's backline. And look at the time bank again. This is ridiculous. No one can defend this map.
That was 99. That is tragic, dude. He needed the beat for the blade. Now he's got a tempo. This is it. Space Station have got to win this fight. Tempo beat in, depending on what RuPaul's timing as well. But Space Station can't just sit there idle, waiting for Liquid to make the move. Both Kings Row and now Rialto. It is both teams fumbling defenses, but being absolutely monstrous on the attack.
Oh, there's the beat by Lep. Okay, I was waiting for Tree to headshot him. I'm going to be honest.
That would have been
Rush and the Dragon Strike. A pulse bomb ends up killing Tree. Finally, Demon slain there. As Team Liquid make it a 4-on-4. Lep also falling though for Space Station. This is going to make it rather dicey. Chronic spawning in, going Reaper, but Sugar Free still looking for another opening kill. Team Liquid are still pushing the point, by the way. Someone needs to touch. Luckily though, Chronic's in the spawn, but meanwhile the action across the map actually is going the way of Team Liquid. Sugar Free, CJ down. RuPaul now marching the troops down this stretch. They got Chronic to deal with on the point, but where they got the numbers and they got the health, and they don't even need the ults, I don't think. Well, CJ's going to rip the rush on the point, and actually, it's going to be a back off now. Team Liquid are respecting the rush.
Yeah, and Infected's not here, so Team Liquid have done enough. They got the most they could have gone out of that one. They lose Infected, but they keep the pressure on, knowing, look, if we push a little bit more without dying, we're going to force an ultimate, and now CJ doesn't have his rush. That's massive. Team Liquid can, well, wait for the next ultimate to come online. They've got 3 of them going in, and that's a big advantage.
Yeah, they can tempo beat as well, knowing Space Station used theirs in the previous fight. Vegas 10% away. All they need to do, take a little bit of poke damage, wait.
It's just under 255 now. Space Station have already capped the Team Liquid. One more push and they can do it. The only thing they have to be careful of, Hawk doesn't...
Oh, they know he's got beat too. He's in the bubble. That's a safety beat. Hits 5. Suzu used by CJ and the TP. The hunt for the Kiriko continues as the blade from Zera is popped as Vega finds the mark. Kiriko down. Hawk self-destructs. But unfortunately, it'll be him in another lifetime now. Straight to spawn. The team kill connects for Team Liquid. 2 ults to spare and a full cap on Rialto.
I'll tell you what, Chris might be right about the 3-0 pending on how the rest of this map goes, but he's not correct about how many points have been scored. Both teams are getting giant point scores for every map. You're not going to see a single map so far, at least in the 3 maps that we've seen, with a 0 point holdout. Like opening Ilios 2-1, you had a 4-3 on Kings Row. There's about to be potentially another 4-3. This most likely ends on A. You don't have a lot of time to get past A. Any team that can actually cap A, the team attacking first here, if they actually get A, that's enough to win. Genuinely enough. And it should be, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it on Team Liquid attacking first, they have the less time. So both teams have had great attacks though, Jack, and poor defenses.
Yeah, historically that has been the case. Their A hold on extra rounds on Rialto has been such so many legendary, like, Overwatch League moments. I mean, going back to when this map was even released. Spacestation now on the defense. See if Tree just continues this Hanzo. If he gets another opening pick, I mean, that's how they ended up snowballing. And I'm going to be honest, that's how they end up snowballing all the time, is Tree getting picks on this Hanzo.
So, again, to confirm, is on the attack here. Spacestation is on the defense here. So there's icon swap, then I do suspect a little bit later on, I would be very surprised if RuPaul starts on the Ana again for their defense. But first of all, got to worry about how Liquid attacks this one. Chronic's going to start, as mentioned, on the Freya. Tree's going to run it back onto this Hanzo once more, but can he find that opening shot? Because that's what kind of opened up the map before.
They are not going to give it to him this time. No one is playing around that statue. You see? Anybody on the X-ray? No, absolutely not. I mean, Chronic's not even trying him now. Very rarely is he peeking up and respecting the Sonic Arrow, which is what you pointed out.
Lep's played so safe. He hasn't even really got any damage done yet. Too much healing there as well. Spacestation want to be able to play the high ground, low ground of the D.Va, playing this corner. This is where they want to hold. So far, they haven't allowed any major shots from Tree to find its mark, because that would be the ultimate spot for Team Liquid.
Sugarfree had to recall there. They just got on chase. Luckily, though, left with the boop away onto Infected. Infected is pretty low, but high ground control for Tree as Tree kills Chronic again. Slow push now in for Team Liquid. You got to save Tree, though. Looks like there's enough support to keep him up at 100% HP. A couple of body shots there onto Sugarfree as now the push can continue. A kill onto left. Tree finds another. Sugarfree bites the dust. And with 40 seconds in the time bank, this A-cap looking good.
You just need to get the respawn.
Oh, the snipe! The snipe!
He has the ultimate. He must be the one to survive. How is Spacestation going to contest this one? Hawk has to throw his body on top of the point and wait for CJ. They need the rush.
They're going to get their touch. Hawk's going to go up. They're going to let the cap go through, but CJ is here. He can play on this corner, but here comes the early rush from Team Liquid. They're looking for Chronic, or at least Tree is. Dragon Strike available as well for the Hanzo as Hawk gets instantly demeched. Payload now pushing, overtime approaching. Oh, they're just going to go for this too. I mean, you might as well. Dragon Strike through is going to split people up. Lep ends up going down, but a full reset is required. Quick go again for Space Station.
But it's not going to be quick because we're in OT spawns now, and that means you have to wait so long for each individual member. No wave respawns. Everyone's going to respawn individually. And you're in a situation where Liquid don't mind throwing ultimates here. Their goal is to get as much progress as possible. Like I said, all you need to do on this time is cap A. They've already done that. Everything now after A is bonus.
Primal Rage used by Infected. Again, buying time, like you said. Making sure they can get as much payload push as possible. Pulse Bomb in the hands of Sugarfree, but instantly hits the recall just as Tree whips around for the 180. Pulse Bomb, though, is not going to be as effective now. Beat Blade into the backline. Chronic taken out of thin air, but they get off the point.
No, they
Infected and Team Liquid get off the point. A beat Blade with Chronic dead. That is, you have to be touching there if you're Team Liquid. That is a certified C9.
I think they could have capped as well. Not guaranteed. The 3 alive on Space Station. Hawks with a remake in there, assuming he actually gets back in the mech, which is questionable at this level of gameplay because of how fast the baby divas die. But there is a real chance. I'm pretty sure Liquid had a good shot at actually finishing B, and at that point, it's over. You call it. A is usually enough. You cap B here, you're also not just capping B, you're getting a decent distance on C, again, just based on OT respawns being slow. Now Space Station have such an incredible amount of distance to be able to push, to do anything, to push us to a map, or they have slightly more time than Team Liquid, but you already look at the Liquid defense. RuPaul, again, having to learn his lesson. You start Ana, it's got to be a problem. TP D.Va is going to catch you out. Can't afford to do that anymore. Now, the key target for Tree is Tree. Assuming Space Station play the same TP D.Va strat, Tree has to be the target. But right now, we're not seeing the TP yet. We're not seeing the Sim being hovered just yet by Space Station. But that was their biggest success so far on the attacking side. Are they going to be able to do that again?
And RuPaul is not on the Ana this time around either, who was one of their other targets for that. He's on the Kiriko, a much slipperier support to go for. Sugarfree, I was hoping to see the Sugarfree Hanzo, but is the Pharah.
The Pharah is actually pretty clutch here as well. Unless Tree may be able to do so because he is Tree and just land these shots, nothing challenges Pharah here. This is a very good point that if the enemy team doesn't have anything to play against you, we already saw what Sugarfree did with Pharah.
on well. He essentially got that round done for the team off the fire alone. The problem is it's slow because you're waiting for the fire rockets and this is not going to be fast.
Slowly but surely, chip damage. Both from Chronic and Sugar Free. Yeah, it's like mortar barrage is basically, you're just softening people up. And then maybe even Hawk can slide in with a kill.
You're really
gonna try and push
that...
around this corner. Taking a lot of damage to it, though, is Zera. Had to use that deflect, as Sugar Free also sent pretty low. Infect's doing a good job, actually, of holding down the fort on this corner. Quick teleport away, though, and now Sugar Free's chance to strike. 40 HP. Ends up getting away, but for how much longer? RuPaul, though, first to fall for Team Liquids, as Sugar Free does the dirty work on Zera, who went for an aggressive push.
So what Zera does here, Echo might be an option. You're going up against a decent amount of aerial targets here. Tree's just going to go off the Hanzo entirely. They're going to double down into the dive. Again, nothing touches the fire here. Sugar Free is still getting a lot done. There is a bit of high ground more to play through on B that could be interesting, but we're still not done with A yet. So a final recontest is going to cost Team Liquid ultimates, if nothing else.
Hawk's got a remake, though, in a couple of moments, so he's going to be pretty safe in contesting this for quite a while, you've got to imagine. RuPaul, though, first online with the rush. CJ not too far behind, now has it online. Zera steps up to the plate, but unfortunately, he's on his lonesome right now. Bolus goes wide for Chronic, but they've already killed Zera. Infected jump to the sky to buy his team a little bit more time as Vega holds on to this sound barrier. It connects with the backline as well. Tree, though, is in, but can he actually come up with kills? Barrage does end up connecting with a couple as Vega dances forward on top of the point, gets absolutely decimated. A Primal Rager infected buys more time, but Sugar Free still is flanking this Farah.
They're going to get infected down. Zera's low HP here as well.
He's so low.
Still alive. They're not going to be able to cap it. Finally, they do. Here's the problem, though, for Spacestation. Unlike what we saw at Team Liquid, first of all, this took longer. Second of all, a lot of ultimates have been used. Fully be able to snowball through, and Infected's even going to swap over to the D.Va to deal with Sugar Free.
Zera Blade versus Let Beat. They've got the perfect answer. Has to stay alive, but has to be Payload Princess for the time being. Looks like they want to try and go first, though. Infected, though, going up to the high ground, and, well, there's the plane. There's the beat. High ground, though, for Zera. Saves the dash. Uh-oh. Farah's in trouble now. Sugar Free just torn in half, but overtime is still ticking. Chronic finds a double. The backline now for Team Liquid dead. A pulse bomb thrown out by Tree, but it gets absolutely squat as Space Station Gaming are going to continue their march on to second.
Zera may have pulled Blade too early, though. The green HP from the beat was still there. He does get kills. This is going to be costly for Space Station because they can't get off the payload, and they're waiting for respawns. Good news is CJ
got no
and teleport. Where's the touch, though? Team Liquid, they need to get in right now. Payload is about to cap.
Self-destruct for Hawk, and this C9 is going to haunt Team Liquid in their nightmares for quite a while if this cap ends up coming through. Bolus available from Chronic, but a little bit too risky to fire out willy-nilly, considering the mech available for Infected. There's the rush on the point now. Should be an overwhelming amount of force for Space Station. But still, RuPaul needs his. He ends up teleporting forward, but the connection with the Bolus connects with Vega. Now RuPaul in a disastrous situation, but Zera ends up killing Sugar Free, but the mech is destroyed. Infected now. Baby D.Va form on the point. CJ cowering in a corner, but kills Infected. A remake for Hawk, and a 3v1 now as Tree is torn up. Vega is the last to touch, but Space Station Gaming managed to cap, taking us to a map 4.
Absolute cinema finish coming through from Space Station Gaming, and now this series is delivering. 3-1 indeed is the minimum scoreline, but we could even go to 5. These guys are going back and forth. These defenses basically non-existent, but the attack phases on both sides absolutely overwhelming. And now you got to talk about it again. It's the C9, Jack. That C9 from Team Liquid, when they, in my opinion, had a good shot at capping B. It's going to come back to haunt them massively, like you sort of mentioned there, because that is the final distance. That is where we end up. And if had they capped B, might be a different story. Had they capped B, I don't know that Space Station can actually win this map anymore. But what a monstrous attack, and a very last minute call as well from Sugar Free to say, you know what, Farah might be the answer here. You know what, we won with Farah on Ilios. Let's do that again. We know they're not going to have anything anti-fire to start with. We have attackers advantage here in terms of comps. We can counter comp them. Yeah, it's going to be a little slow because you're waiting for fire damage to really be able to lock in. You're not going to find these one-shots like Tree is able to do on the Hanzo straight off the rip. And it did cost SSG a lot of ultimates and a lot of everything to even cap A. I mean, that A cap was not easy, but sugar-free on that fire. It was untouched for the longest time. Now, what a finish. That's crazy, man. And amazing, man.
A C9 to end it all. I mean, look, I can imagine Kasaurus right now consoling the team a little bit, because you got to get coming back from a head scratcher like that when 4 players are alive and you end up just stepping off the point in OT. But now, if we look forward, we go to a map 4 where it's now Team Liquid's chance to pick the map and then also
Suravasa
ban
ball.
first.
Suravasa ball would be a strong contender. I believe it is Push and Suravasa left. Push is... Have we banned Zarya yet? Because Push Zarya ban could also be strong, although I think...
It's got to be a Suravasa.
I think SSG's moved away from Zarya. They look like this series is way more defined by Hawk D.Va than anything else. D.Va's already been banned. That's out of question already. Zarya has not been banned, but I don't know that Hawk even needs to do that anymore, because I think the D.Va is right now. I mean, given that Rialto is a D.Va map, I will admit that's like, it should be favored for Hawk. It is the map that you want to play D.Va on. But Suravasa Ball is very strong. Ball has been banned by SSG already, so you don't need to worry. There is a real question. I think if you want to min-max your Kasaurus, I don't think you go Suravasa. Here's the reason why. Because you have options for going to push. You don't. Suravasa is the only choice. So you know if this goes to 5, it's guaranteed Suravasa. You don't need to pick that one. It's guaranteed for you. And Ball cannot be banned. So you're not scared of them having a ban. You're not scared of what map it is. You have the choice now to go to a push that favors you the most, where you get first ban. I think that's a much stronger strategic option for Kasaurus and TL.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, because then, hey, if we go to a map 5, yeah, like you said, we just play ball. We just play like we normally do. Let's have a look where we're going. And it is going to be a new Queen Street pick. So, yeah, right on the money there, Avril. Yeah. Team Liquid now banning first. Now, where do you head to the bans? What does Team Liquid target here?
Well, D.Va's gone. I still think Zarya ban could be a reasonable one. We're pretty deep, man. This is the thing. You're map 4, and bans are starting to... Yeah, it's not a bad one. It definitely means you're guaranteed it's going to be D.Va on the other side. Maybe a Hazard, probably more likely to be D.Va. And then if you're infected, you don't even need to think about ball. You can just start on your own Zarya, or you can start on... Actually, no, you couldn't because it would be a ban. You can start on Ram, actually, because knowing that the other team would probably be on a D.Va. But honestly, I think bring the ball back. I think this is a great ball map. I think TL know exactly how to play ball. I think they're one of the... Obviously, they're one of the strong ball teams in NA, because very few other teams can do this. It's just Cuffer and Infected, really, that can bring the ball. So, bring the ball. Ban Hog, if you want to make the ball work, because you maybe... Or save Hog for the final map. Well, you can just win now. I think Hog needs to be banned at some point, because Hog is a big ball counter, assuming you want to play ball.
Banning, I feel like Hog might be a better ban on Suravasa, though, no? Because, like, it's all about space control on the point. I feel like it's a better ban.
It is, but then unfortunately you're doing the thing where, like, you're playing to win map 5, not playing to win map 4. So the
TL ban,
they want to target
ban.
Oh, they want to target Chronic.
Yeah.
To be fair, Chronic has been forced to basically one-trick cast today. He's tried to play some Freya, but it's been kind of a mixed bag. The Ram being banned means that I think we're going to play D.Va. SSG want to play D.Va.
Yeah.
Because they're banning the Ram away to enable the D.Va would be my... Although, Infected's also played the Ram in response to Zarya as well. So this opens both Zarya and D.Va for Hawk. This is a strong look from SSG. I actually prefer their ban, and I'm not too sure if Liquid min-max their ban enough. However, they do save the Hog ban for map 5, which is good. However, then you have to go to map 5, which means you have to lose this.
Yeah, which is not ideal, but... in long series like this, bans really do... you can't, like, use all your bans straight away, right? You can't be blowing super important bans for different game types that early on. And
you also can't play to not lose, if that makes sense. You have to play to win, not play to not lose, which means play to win map 4 rather than be like, well, let's just see what happens on map 5. So there is that argument as well. Although that being said, I still think, obviously going a little bit backtracking here, saving Suravasa as the final map, picking New Queen Street or Esperanza or Push is better, just because you know you're guaranteed Suravasa. So there's no reason to pick it for you right now if you are Team Liquid. So decisions need to be made here. Ball has been selected. No cast on the other side, which, by the way, even if there is a Hog, at least there's no cast that you have to play the ball into.
All right, there it is. There's the infected ball and the tree soldier. We've seen this once before. Tree on soldier.
Would have been a huge risk if Hawk started D.Va, but because Hawk starts Zarya, I think this soldier actually has good value. And there's no TP. He's read correctly that there's no TP play. I think TPing on top of soldier is viable.
Infected trying to go for a cheeky boop here as Hawk tries to take space. Infected's 1 HP. Needs help. Yep, no help found, unfortunately. 404 there. Space Station, that's a very early fight. But what do you think about this soldier against this comp, though? I mean, it's great that you're doing a lot of chip damage, right? You want to be able to get on off angles, but Sugar Free's there to check you. I mean, Chronic, you're going to get
only Sugar Free, though. Chronic's not going to check him except for throwing rails down range. It's only going to be Sugar Free. So that's the thing. If you're up against a D.Va, this is really risky. Because there's no D.Va, this is also one of the better ways to just guarantee damage on top of the Zarya as well, which super reliant on bubble cooldowns. Ignore the bubble and just wait for the cooldown and just shoot him again. But then again, this happens. Zero dies, and now Spacestation are going to be threatening Cap very, very soon. I don't love the Soldier in comparison to some of the other options. Soldier's one of the classics of New Queen Street, going all the way back to Overwatch 2 release.
Yeah, oh my goodness, that's a bit of a throwback. Chronic, though, with 2 kills already, is kind of almost capped this point for them. And in fact, I think that's going to be a cap. Yeah, it is. Yep. 2 kills for Space Station. Bro. And that's a cap. Make that a third. That kills
a minute 30 and they got a cap. Well, Team Liquid got to do some contesting. They need to start playing this game. RuPaul's very far behind CJ. I mean, far enough behind that CJ can let this rip and it'll be a bit of a problem. But just going to go towards Winston now. Is they're not really... That's a little surprising. I don't think ball was the problem at all, but... Maybe me thinking about more consistency on the Winston. Winston's also going to eat a bunch of damage.
They can just rush up the hill, bro. I mean, look, they can TP, hit the rush, and then just kill. I mean, at least they've killed Chronic. Sure, Infected just so low, though. He's 1 HP. Ends up flipping the back, but
they're not
look
touching.
at this.
They're not touching.
Space Station, yeah, they're not touching, and Space Station are free pushing right now. Infected eventually jumps back in with the help of Zera, creating a little bit of space on the Tracer. They've got a rush of their own, of course, but they need to be able to use this, like, effectively. But getting it on the stretch here, looks like a sound barrier for Space Station is going to be in response to Infected diving in again. 88 meters, you're happy with that off the first push.
Absolutely. I mean, that's disgustingly good.
1 minute 30 for a cap. 2 minutes 30 for 88. You nearly hit triple digits. Like, oh my god, because Infected got so low, they flipped the map. But if you flip the map, you're not contesting payload, which means SSG is getting alone time, pushing it to 88. That was not well played by Liquid at all. And I still think the ball is fine. I'm a little surprised he got a ball that quickly, but here we are now. It's going to be Winston and everything else. Visor from the distance.
Oh, Visor, a little bit of damage. Oh, Sugar Free couldn't get out. Unlucky. A little bit of extra damage on top there. Not sure Chronic can survive. No ult rip, though, from Chronic. Didn't want to use that desperately. They're trying to catch CJ. And Hawk, too, loses all that energy and gets a later respawn there. As Liquid now finally gets some push.
Yeah, every kill on the Zarya is incredibly good. Just resetting the energy every time. Grab's going to come on through now. Difficult for this grab, by the way. Like, it's unless you're just face-to-face with the Winston, you're never really going to catch the backline unless they make a mistake. You don't really have the capability just to drop the grab onto anything. The downrange is not going to be good at all either. So, to me, this is a big Chronic fight, for sure.
Sound barrier. Leb's in trouble. High ground control for Chronic. Has got a good feel of the battlefield right now, but Leb ends up going down. A little short hop there from Infected, but Chronic now jumping to low. RuPaul went so aggro there to try and deal with the Sojourn, but it doesn't really seem to matter as Zera. Oh, he's tearing him up. He's got 2 already. Sugar Free at least kills Vega. A little bit of comeuppance there for Vega, but an unbelievable clutch. A checkpoint secured as well for Team Liquid.
And there was more ults on Spacestation, but they never got a chance to use them. We thought the fight should have been over, probably. OC from Chronic. Spacestation have the space. RuPaul dies trying to face up against Chronic, but then Zera, when the dust settles, is the winner of the fight, and he gets the cap for the team.
Oh, what a stick as well.
Suzu.
Oh, bubble use Suzu, but Graviton Surge straight on top of Infected. Use that Primal Rage, but he's just getting melted in the sky. Probably wasn't even worth even using that, to be fair. Space Station, though, they do end up using 2 ults.
It's the only way you're going to get a kill with that grab is on the Winston. You're not going to catch anybody else unless they make a mistake. So, unfortunately, Space Station have to use these ults in their own side of the map, which means all they get to do is pop ults to get payload back in control. They're not able to use ults to actually claim distance, which they're still ahead, but now the gap is close. 61 to 88. After time still remaining, Team Liquid have done enough to close the gap. Not flipped yet. Puts the pressure on the Space Station. They're looking for a good double ult situation. Vega does not have beat. That's going to be critical.
CJ with a rush. RuPaul just earned his. Waiting, slowly biding their time, but time is against Team Liquid right now. There
I'll be waiting.
comes the rush. Both of them, in fact. Oh, Tree's in a little bit of trouble. Space Station Gaming actually going to use both support ults, use that beat as well. RuPaul has got that swift step in a couple of moments there, but needs to actually get kills, needs to provide space for his team at the very least, as Infected now tries to separate the squad with a bubble, but RuPaul gets chased down. Just noted by Sugarfree that he already TP'd away from him, and this is Space Station Gaming taking control of this bot aggro and getting even more lead.
You might be able to get triple digits here, but the respawns are... No, you're not anymore. Unfortunately, no C... Oh, hang on. One
Zero
kill
dead.
Zero is good, but it's a 4v4. CJ only just spawned, and he's on the wrong side of the map. So you got to get 97. No triple digits confirmed. Team look at all the rest of their plays, and you have to respect the zero's got to close respawn. So the one kill to CJ prevents the 100 from coming in. Also got a comment. Space Station waited so long. I don't know what they were waiting for. They're double support ultimates. I don't know if they didn't realize what Vega's ult charge was from them.
Oh, what a pulse from Sugarfree. Vega and Tree were trying to dance around him. He ends up just getting schooled. Sugarfree's going for another one, in fact, and he gets it as well with the help of Lem. Sugarfree is just dominating right now on this Tracer, and Infected's alone on the point. Infected is super low, ends up dashing out with the leap, but RuPaul just desperately trying to heal him up, and there's the triple digits.
Yeah, if Infected dies there, this could be map. I mean, it wouldn't be a full cap. The Space Station would push so hard.
They got Grav.
Might not have a comeback.
Grav, Vega needs the speed. Visor used, buying some time. Tree, though, can't play too far up with the risk of just getting grabbed. In fact, this could be even a two-man here. Sound barrier used from Vega. Grav sent in by Hawk. Okay, they had the emergency get out of jail free card button there, but Team Liquid still need to gain the lead. This fight isn't exactly one-sided. They're still losing.
Honestly, I think trading Grav for beat, excellent trade for Space Station Gaming. Hawk's going to go over towards Diva instead. Enough Zarya gameplay. Knowing that Infected is just going to be on the Winston. Yeah, play the Diva. You know you've been winning on this comp. You know you've been winning on this hero. But the reason why the grab trade is important is, well, you're swapping anyway, but also you get rid of the beat. And now, once again, Vega is going to be behind the 8 ball. It's double support ultimate's about to be online for CJ Lep. RuPaul can match, but Vega's millions of miles away.
Vector's at least got this primal rage. He's actually going to pop it really early here. Oh, another stick from Sugarfree. Zera's at least going to match him there with a stick onto Lep. We'll see if CJ actually ends up using this ult, because with Chronic using this overclock here, they can push Team Liquid all the way back. So all that progress getting completely denied.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, the fact that he didn't really get anything out of the OC, but what he does get is the intangibles of forcing Liquid back. Liquid are just going to respect the OC entirely after the pulse for pulse trade. And because you put the payload on the other side of the map, you at least gain the space trade. And now you just got tempo beat, okay.
Yeah, tempo beat in, but where are the kills? Later rush here from CJ, and in fact, it's so low. RuPaul wasn't really in LOS. I think the bot was actually blocking a lot of those off-of healings. And that's a clean fight too. Trin and RuPaul are going to go down. A team kill for Space Station.
And now, when Vega does get beat, he's going to be forced to use it in his own spawn. So once again, it's going to end up being a low-value beat. And this is exactly
if he even gets it.
Push if you're Space Station. You're going to not necessarily get the full cap here, but you're going to push hard enough that Team Liquid are going to start the OT on the wrong side of the map, which basically is a death sentence for push.
Self-destruct for Hawk as well. He can play for as long as he wants in this spawn. He's going to use it. Bomb on the floor. Get a few more meters. Everybody from Team Liquid scatters. And he gets a free remake. No ults on the ball for either side, but Team Liquid are coming up on a couple of them. That sound barrier and that pulse bomb. But Vega cannot go down. He Ajaxes! Oh, Hawk runs him over. The Ajax to the century there for Hawk as he just rolls over Tree as well. The double kill for Space Station as they full cap New Queen Street and take us to a map 5.
Oh my god, look, even without the AJ, even if Liquid win that fight, as I heated up just before we even got in that fight, they're starting OT on the wrong side of the map and they have to push like 140. The really smart play that Hawk did there, massive props to Hawk, is the fact that he used the self-destruct just for AoE, just for zoning. It's a bit of a meme. Yeah, zoning self-destruct for now. We're in bronze again, except in this position, he trades self-destruct a whole ass ultimate that is useful for remake just to get like 3, 4, or 5 extra meters. But in that moment in time, at that level of push on the map itself, 100% worth. You can get another 3 to 5 meters, trading your self-destruct for it. like your goal isn't necessarily cap through the whole map. Your goal is to extend the lead so far that it's impossible for Team Liquid on their repush, on their OT to win. And I do believe it was impossible. I think this map was done. So even without the AJ sealed, I mean, that was just sharing, but that sealed the deal. But even without it, I don't think Liquid win this map just based on the difference going into OT, but specifically because Team Liquid is starting OT on the wrong side of the map.
This series is delivering. Hey, some people calling this a 3-0 for Liquid. Some people calling this a 3-0 for Spacestation. But we're getting to a map 5. And look at the timeline as well of this series, with Team Liquid taking the first couple of maps and then a C9 on Rialto costing them the map. The Ajax here in 4K as Hawk runs over Vega. This couldn't be looking any better for Spacestation right now. I mean, not only do they win a couple of maps here, but the mentals are going to be through the roof for Spacestation Gaming. I'm wondering what it's like in the Team Liquid camp right now, because especially after that Rialto, getting your head back into that is going to be a tough one. A lot of veteran players on that team, but it cannot be understated. Going to a map 5 like this is going to do a little bit something to you.
And it's like I said as well, I don't think the cast ban was ultimately that useful. I think it was an okay ban. I think the Ramatra ban was really clean. You got rid of the one here that Infected really wants to play up against either the Diva or the Zarya, and Hawk played both. And he finished off with the Diva. In fact, the Zarya ended up being, in terms of win percentage, less good. I think once he swapped the Diva, their win rate actually improved. The really curious part was Infected got off ball. He wasn't feeling it anymore. He's like, this isn't working for me anymore, which is concerning because we're about to go to like one of the ball maps. It's like this and Ilios are two of like the ball maps. So are we going to see the ball? I think we are, but confidence is, you're going to start shaking the confidence a little bit, knowing that
right,
New Queen Street is like not as good as Suravasa for a ball map, but a reasonable ball map. I mean, you guys got off that. I think that, I don't know how you feel about Soldier Pick, but it's like okay, but part of me feels like, is it not a better hero for Tree that he could have played instead?
A Suravasa, the only flashpoint left, and like you kind of alluded to as well before we got into New Queen Street, New Queen Street was a nice pick because now we're defaulting to Suravasa, the only flashpoint available right now in our pool of maps. So the bans, obviously Wrecking Ball can't be banned now, so you're guaranteed at least that.
Yeah, like I said, I think Hog ban is super powerful here, even though I think what Hawk really wants to do is the Diva. What we have seen is he has also flexed a Hog. But the real question is, how badly does Infected still want to play ball after New Queen Street? After what we saw there, how shaken is the ball confidence? Do they want to do that again? If they do ban Hog, get rid of that option, you know it's going to be Hawk on Diva or Zarya, most likely Diva, given how things have gone. Have to be careful for the first point Sigma as well. That is a potential first point only type of pick that he can do, and is pretty reasonable. I mean, what else do you... I
think Hog makes the most sense.
What else is
I'm going to be honest.
What is?
If you really want to get rid of the ball counters, like Hog would make the most sense. But yeah, like you're reaching the end of the series where like you can't really target much else.
I don't think the Zarya is worth targeting anymore because Hawk has got a better win rate on the Diva anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, you'll play the Ram and the Diva.
Are they banned Freya?
What else is a problem? I don't think Freya is a problem. I don't think Freya is a threat right now. I think Chronic's performance on Freya today has not been enough to be warranted as a threat. I also don't think Suravasa is a massive Freya map. I don't think it's like, wow, Freya is so good here. Probably not bad, but like,
yeah,
I think there's a higher percentage chance that Cass is being played here. Man,
yeah.
You're running. This is the problem. You're map 5. You're running out of bans. You're running out of good bans. And then you have to start considering other bans that hurt you. Like if you start targeting, you know, like Sugar-Free Tracer, you remove Zero Tracer. If you like, you need to be looking for asymmetrical bans, not super symmetrical bans that also screw your team over. And it can be, that's why the best way to do it is if you have a main tank player, the other team is an off tank player, that's the best way you get asymmetrical bans that benefit you and negatively impact the other team. But like, it's getting hard, man, because Diva, probably the biggest ban, is gone, and we've discovered through the series that Zarya is not going to be the problem. Diva's going to be the problem when you look towards Hawk.
I mean, regardless of how this outcome comes in, oh wow, a Tracer ban from TL and a Kiriko ban from SSG. And I'll finish my point. Regardless how this series actually ends, I think we've had breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. Map number 5, reverse sweep on the cards. We've had an Ajax last map, a C9 as well on Rialto to get us all this way. Team Liquid ban one of their strongest heroes in Tracer. So Zera's not picking that one up, but a Kiriko ban for SSG. What do you make of this?
Who do you think is the better Tracer? Because I actually think Zero has been the better Tracer so far. Sugarfree's had some moments. Zero is ridiculous. I think he's the best Tracer in the region. So this hurts Team Liquid more, in my honest opinion. What it does say is we might move over towards Gen.G. We might move over towards Reaper. But I think Reaper would benefit SSG. That's more their style, the Zarya Reaper style. I don't think that's really as much Liquid style, although we could just be playing Brawl. It could be Ram into Devo or Zarya, and then we're just playing a Reaper on both teams. I think Chronic is more likely to play the Cass here. Gen.G is obviously the choice if you want to play Winston or any sort of dive. Torb and Sim are still on there as well. I don't think Farah is amazing, so I don't think Sugar Free should go towards that. He's going to start Sim, but I don't... let's see if he stays Sim. Are we really going to play Lucio Moira? Because Kiriko is banned, and so Lucio Wu Young is an option. Kiriko's out. Honor's too risky. And so teams are going to go to Moira. Wow.
That is a pick of all time. Looking like Dilduck's out here, and I'm not complaining. But Wu Yang is still available, though. Yeah, surely Wu Yang gets played by somebody. And Sugar Free does go to Farah. Okay, so Gen.G, Reaper, Winston dive versus the Farah and Chronic on the Freya. This is heavy poke versus very fast dive.
The ceiling is too low on this opening market point. The good news
Does it matter?
is, yeah, you can play up across these high grounds. I mean, for Farah, you can.
Against this comp, though.
Geometry. Against this comp, to be fair, the Gen.G can get to you with the low ceiling.
Yeah, I guess so.
Can get to you as well.
Uh-oh. Well, in trouble is Mr. Left. Does end up dashing away on that Lucio. But Tree forced to use that Wraith Form. Infected's 1 HP. Hunt just hounds him down. A very definitive first fight here by Spacestation. They lose CJ, but, I mean, the rest is history, really. Spacestation get the first cap.
It's a lot of Chronic damage as well. Look at that 51 full round of swaps. Now, RuPaul even going to play over towards the Ana. And I think, honestly, as much as I said Ana's a risk, here's what we have guaranteed. You know there's no Gen.G and Tracer's banned. That actually enables the Ana. So, good news for RuPaul. He might get to make this Ana work now.
He might be a little bit more free. Wrecking Ball as well is going to cause some havoc in the skies. As, like you mentioned, the sky hitbox here, pretty low. Sugar Free getting mad pocketed by CJ, luckily for him. But actually getting onto the backline here is going to be quite a challenge. Oh, what a shot from Zero 2. Goodbye. Okay, well, fight might be done now. Chronic's Freya 2, still world class. Yep. Worth kind of keeping in mind. Yeah, RuPaul dead. This is a fairly easy and trivial first point for Space Station.
Goal now for the Liquid is to start forcing some ultimates out of Space Station, make it expensive for them. Percentage chance that you actually win this third point is decreasing by the moment. Unless Tree,
0%.
Somebody gets an incredible shot on there, you are going to touch for a contest. No, you're not.
They're too far away.
Okay.
RuPaul, they're swapping again, Avril. Infected now. Ram and RuPaul on the BAP. Yeah, the third hero for RuPaul.
And Infected.
Yeah, it's looking rough out here for Team Liquid.
I did say, look, Ram is going to be Infected's answer to the Diva. He actually wanted to try the ball first. I'm like, I don't know. If you want to do ball, commit the ball. This is what I was saying on New Queen Street at the end as well. It's like, it looks like they're losing on ball now. Maybe they don't want to play the ball anymore, but they decided to come in for a couple of fights of that anyway. And now, because no ults are forced out of Space Station, they're going to have the full sweep, full house, full 5.
There's the blast. Oh, the tidal blast actually attached to Sugar Free. RuPaul goes down to a rocket barrage, and that is CJ and Let dead, however. So a lot less healing now available for Space Stations, and the Infected just plants himself on the point and takes the fight to them.
Team Liquid, they really needed this cap. Falling behind in this series as for the first time now, Space Station with that 1-0 after the market cap are actually in the lead. The series, obviously, we're both 2-0 on both teams match point. Liquid's opportunity to start building some of these ultimates. You do know, by the way, Left did die in the previous fight. He's been slowed down heavily on this ult charge for the beat. The point now where, yeah, I don't think Zero's going to get it in time for the blade without the beat on the other side. But yeah, I mean, Left should have had a beat a long time ago.
Hawk with the remake too. Lep with the beat, trying to amp it up. Get in there ASAP. Looking like towards the Gen.G right now. The sound barrier from Lep. My word, that was close. Hawk eating the bolus too as the blades popped by Zera. Looking towards Hawk's mech right now. Can't unfortunately eat those with the Matrix. Zera does end up dashing away though, but they've still managed to force the remech out of Hawk. So limited ults to Space Station make that a big fat 0. In fact, as RuPaul uses the window for a little bit more of a defensive play here on a very strange off angle. Actually finds Chronic and goes for the 1v1 in the skies and wins it out too.
Equaling up now, 100-0. Team Liquid.
It's the D-Mech.
Strong for the second point. A D-Mech as well. To be fair, they can't... Okay, I was going to say they can't stagger him because he went on the point and they haven't finished capping yet. If they finished capping, that would have been a disgusting D-Mech into a stagger. This is unbelievably close, Jack. This is about... We could just go to all 5 rounds on all 5 maps here as well. Infected looking over towards his annihilation in the next fight. A really nice opening to get them point control.
Are they comfortable though? Is this the comp that they just want to run through with? 100-0 on that one is at least going to fill them with confidence going into this next fight.
They have capability to start dealing with some of the big threats now. Chronic down the range, Sugar Free in the air.
Bro, Sugar Free is 1 HP. Lucky Zera didn't have the dash there at all. But they get to Hawk's mech again. Oh, and they're going to Annihilation too. Wait, what? Infected just gets focused down amid Annihilation. They do end up trading, and there is a Tidal Blast available for CJ too, so they can just run on in if they want to. Sugar Free's got this barrage too. Are they actually going to want to pressure them? Hawk eventually gets the remake.
He's half out, but he's here. Space Station.
There it is. Tidal Blast on the Farah, straight to the back line. RuPaul ends up going down, but Tree snipes Sugar Free out of the skies. They're still in control of this point, mind you, a Liquid as Infected comes back on the ball, but quickly dealt with.
This is going really poorly. I kind of for both teams because Space
What are these picks?
should be winning right now, but Liquid are not giving up the point. It's a very late flip, and with a late pick on a Chronic, Infected coming back on the ball, second life on the ball now after he just died previously. Team Liquid might be able to get a counter flip.
Yeah, these random picks are insane. The counter flip's going to come in. Tree's on a good off angle too. He's going to have the bolus in hand, and Vegas nearing this sound barrier. A very, very quick cap from Space Station. Doesn't really result in much. 20% or thereabouts. Like, okay, sure. A nice double connection there onto Sugar Free, who's sent really nowhere. Now they're going to push into the back line. Sugar Free taken out of the skies as Zera just jumps over the veranda. Takes care of a Lep as well. This is going to be point here for Team Liquid. Zera sacrifices himself. But it's all good. Team Liquid have control, and the likelihood that someone touches from Space Station, a clean touch of that is going to be slim. Self-destruct to go for the remake, but Hawk quickly dealt with. No one dies in a 4-man sound barrier for Space Station to keep them in it. But Team Liquid, they've got the perfect answers to deal with what is dealt by Space Station. There's only a couple of moments left before the point gets capped, as Team Liquid have got ults to spare as they get this 1-2.
Yeah, and they wanted to make it expensive. They made it really expensive. Team Liquid had to blow a couple of extra ults there, but Space Station made a genuine concerted effort. I think their win percentage chance of actually making that comeback happen on that point, very low. 85%. Hawk is gone, has to fly back in, burn stuff to strike very quickly to buy some zoning space. But what you cannot afford is to give up that point and allow Liquid to walk onto what could be the final point of the map and the series with 5 ultimates. Liquid have 3. Mines very strong here on the opening. By the way, Zero Blade, no defense, no beat.
Slam, mines, quick teleport away. Look at that, but they're split up completely. Zera, oh, he got moved off the map. He luckily, though, manages to climb up and has actually spotted CJ, who's now alone and isolated without a wave. A couple of nice reflex there from Zera as Lep and CJ left on an island. And they are drowning as Team Liquid run over Space Station. Are going to get the cap first.
You feel the momentum here. It has shifted so drastically after what we saw in that first point where things look dire for Team Liquid. Multiple hero choice swaps. RuPaul Infected on 3 different types of heroes. Infected now finally back up the ball. These last 2 points have gone so well. We all even got that 100-0 on Palace as well. And now Liquid, first cap as expected with ult advantage on what could be the final point. Space Station still looking for an opening.
Surely another slams here. Infected waited to maybe bowl people off there. He's coaxing them in. A teleport, though, they're not even going to give him the chance. They slam down on the TP as the bolus gets sent in, and that is large damage. Infected just teaming up there with Tree's ult, and they just eviscerate them. I mean, that push wasn't even close. Space Station on their last limb now, Avril.
Yeah, and what can they do now? They still are waiting for ultimates. CJ swapped heroes. He's going to be behind. RuPaul's going to have window. And you desperately need Chronic, but particularly Sugar-Free. Wall could be massive here. It'll block out RuPaul's window. And for Space Station, buy them much needed time. But I feel like they're just running out.
They're going for a flank. Tree's on like a nasty flank here. They do teleport to the point. Luckily, they actually just get the flip.
No ults used just yet, buying time. Chronic and Sugar-Free waiting for their moment here. Now it's Team Liquid. They have to be the ones to go. Window first.
They got wall as well soon. Window used by RuPaul, and what an angle. Oh, he just ended up flipping though. A little wall though is going to come in. Actually ends RuPaul's life. Vega now trying to escape the fray as Chronic was in hot pursuit. A nice little flip there from Space Station is going to net them some extra percent.
RuPaul swapping now over to the Wuyang.
Team Liquid. This is where they're starting to find a little bit more in terms of ult charge as well, but still barely behind. Vega not quite there. Zero not quite there. Not going to be a clean blade situation. You have to play into the beat. Lep's beat here needs to carry. This has to be an insanely good beat. I think this is final fight for this point. You're about to hit 80% for Space Station Gaming, 92 for Liquid already. SSG want to push us to 5 points. Liquid, they're about to finish this entire series if they get this.
They need a beat of their own. They're going to start off with a high noon, a little teleport there from Chronic looking for heads, but everybody's scattered already, and they know exactly where he is. Mine's on the point, sound barrier for Lep connects. Team Liquid not too far away, but they're all split, so no initial kills as 99% hits. Infected though ends up going down first, so retouch has to come through for Liquid, and they're going to beat Blade into the back line, and Zera, he's found them, he dashes back in, but a perfect boot from Lep. CJ ends up going down though as Chronic lands it, Zera with a right hook to the face. Space Station Gaming still in this with Hawk alive, and Sugar-Free giving them the bag on the points. Infected last alive here will end up getting taken down, and we're going all the way Avril.
Oh my god, Infected just dies too early. But then you also have the tempo beat from Lep, which I thought might have been critical in terms of you could lose the entire series off that one beat alone. Zero is waiting patiently. He's thinking, okay, wait for the beat. I'm going to get my own beat played in, but a perfect TP from Sugar-Free allows Space Station to completely rotate around the beated Blade. And then Chronic gets back on the point and gets a double. Unbelievable stuff. Insane clutch from Chronic.
Wait, TP, Tree was waiting for him. Bowler's eaten by Hawk. Amazing stuff, survives too, because thanks to the lamp. RuPaul focused down by Hawk as Tree tries to escape the massacre. That is that teleport play. Infected at least ties this one up, but still Hawk is alive, but actually gets demeched in the end. Chronic though with a big kill and a remake for Hawk. It might just guarantee Space Station this first cap.
First cap indeed found. Team Liquid backs against the wall now. Pressure is on. This is where it really counts. How experienced really is your team. A pivotal moment in the entire series will be an SSG reverse sweep in this series if they can win it right now. And you better bet Chris will be gloating all over Kasaurus. Ultimate's available. Did I?
High noon. TP can TP back down to low as well. There's the deflected. Oh, the 90-degree flip there from Chronic takes care of Infected with the high noon, but they've still got a lot in them. They're going to try and go for the chase, but don't want to be too over-eager. They end up backing off.
Team Liquid, 40% left to try and contest this one. Space Station have nearly confirmed the win. And they thought that they might not even get a single point. At least that's what Chris said. They've got more than that today. CJ looking at ultimate. Lep's there as well. Vega so far behind. What else can Team Liquid do? Infected needs to live on Annihilation. This
Tidal Blast does get booted away initially, but the beat connects eventually for Lep. No Ajax there at all. It connects with 4. Zera now is alone right now. He's at no HP. Annihilation on the point for Infected, but he needs to carry this, and they need to keep touching. Sugar-Free and Lep do end up going down, and CJ's going to bite the dust with the rest of them. As Team Liquid, they get the cap, but at a heavy cost.
Can you imagine if Lep got AJ there? Zera delivers the bubble and explodes at Lep's face. Could have been critical. Still, Team Liquid win this fight, still. But it did cost them an extra Annihilation. Liquid still need time to build up for Vegas ultimate, and it has to be the 0 to 99 on Flashpoint though. We've seen it happen. It can, and usually, not usually, but certainly is capable of how fast that point takes up. Space Station waiting for the TP play. What angle are they looking for? It's a fakey actually.
CG's going to have window. They're here on the point as well. It's going to be such a good opening for Chronic to get some kills.
Ross off angle at the moment. Waiting for the group up here.
Another fakey.
Looking to get a lot of percentage. They need to do something.
Oh, no.
They gotta go.
Hawk ends up teleporting. There's the window on the point. Effective force to pop the Nemesis form. Here comes the bolus. But perfect healing from CJ and a good lamp as well. Negates that ultimate entirely. Vega with the sound barrier surges them forward. Chronic CJ already dead. They have to die now. They have to just go down. This is going to be the last touch here. Team Liquid, they get any stagger and it's disaster for Space Station. 85%. Blade popped. Hawk staggered. 90% and building. And it's only Lep and CJ to touch as Team Liquid are going to deny this reverse sweep. Lep is going to be the final one here, but it's him against the world. And Space Station are going to rest amongst the stars as Team Liquid get the series now 3-2.
Go, Liquid, go. That white horse do be running to the finish line in first place, completely leaving everyone else in the dust. But this Space Station squad pushed Liquid much further than many would have thought. Much further than I thought. Much further than maybe even Chris himself, coach of SSG, had thought. But this was a totally winnable series by the end. A reverse sweep nearly found by Space Station, but Liquid will not be denied when it really counts at the end of the day. In the final moments, a 0-99 comeback required on that final point on Suravasa after losing 2 maps. The 4th map of that, New Queen Street, brutal loss as well for Team Liquid. But we had a close series the entire way through. We started with Lee Jung Tao as a 2-1, a 4-3, 4-3 finish. In fact, I think Rialto even went further than that. There was a C9 in there as well. Multiple captures, time banks confirmed on both our hybrid and escorts. And then all 5 points found on Suravasa. I mean, we went the maximum distance we really could have on this series today.
I absolutely love that the gods granted SSG a C9 on Rialto, then the massive Ajax on New Queen Street, and then Team Liquid looked so rattled at the start of Suravasa, right? It really looked like this is SSG, they're stepping up, and then even towards the very end, 99-0 in round 5, you'd think like this is SSG. The tenacity of Team Liquid to bring that one back from the dead, essentially. They resurrected the team. Incredible from both of these
Unbelievable.
teams. This was the match we wanted all day long. This is it. That was it.
Is massive. So you touched on it, like the C9, you're looking rattled going into the next one.
Yeah.
You hit the Ajax there at the very end. Even with the beat landing, it might not have been winnable, but the chance there just is elevated if that beat ends up connecting. You go to a Suravasa, you go all the way to 5 points. Kasaurus, I'd imagine, just pumping his fist right now in glee, and I can imagine the rest of Team Liquid are as well in comms. Like, my God, this was the series we were promised, and it delivered through and through. I mean, look, Team Liquid, SSG, GK, they're all fighting for the top spot, but one thing can be said for sure, everybody has leveled up, and this is just a case in point.
Yeah, I mean, according to Christopher, Kasaurus still lost his job since they did drop some maps. So, you know, you win some, you lose a lot still. Let's actually head to the DHL Daily Highlights to wrap up our day and also this series. Just take a look at what went down.
We actually nearly didn't get a 5-map series in the sense that this could have been a 3-0 result. Liquid up 2-0. We had to look at him towards the potential reverse sweep, but every single map was close, genuine. This would have been the situation where if it was a 3-0, I would have said one of those lines like, yeah, but it's a close 3-0. It's one of those, you know, score doesn't blah, 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 dictate it, etc. But like now that you actually get the full 5 map, you can comfortably say that this series was just like tooth and nail. These two teams are so close right now, which is a scary look because SSG at the end of last stage, disappointing finish, didn't make the major. What a comeback. Despite losing this one, I think they can walk away heads held high knowing that they have the capability of taking down Team Liquid. And not a single map do I look at this and think and thought like, man, this is just really, really rough from the SSG side. Maybe the Sigma TP stuff on Lighthouse is a bit rough, but that was map 1. Everything else, I mean,
For sure.
5 maps is just closeness, you know.
I think what's crazy as well, Team Liquid end up banning the Tracer, their best hero, or one of their best heroes, right? In Zera. Like, that was like a bit of a mind melter, I think, for SSG in a weird way, because Sugar Free had also had like such an insane series, and then Zera comes back in on the Gen.G and just kind of cleans up like an insane series. Look, it goes to a map number 5, but I want to just harp on what you just said there, like how close these two teams are. It comes down to map choices and bans, something we talked about at the very start of the series, and it's just point proven here. the amount of times Liquid swapped in that last map was insane. RuPaul and Infected they swapped 3 times within the first point. Like, ridiculous amount of flips. And normally, something like that, it's very hard to come back from because you're so behind in ult economy.
But normally, when you see that happening, it's like it's a sign that the team is struggling to find their footing. Like, what are they don't know what they're playing right now. So Infected end up swapping 5 times over 3 heroes, and with that, Liquid put themselves into 3-0. But I think map score-wise, given how close this one was, they didn't quite get the map score to go over the top of GK.
I mean, if you want to put a positive spin on the swapping, you can also look at it from the lens of they are confident enough to try out different things without feeling like, you know, with a team like Team Liquid, it's not necessarily always desperation swap. They just... They can admit that what they're doing is not working, so they feel confident and willing to swap to something else. Whereas we see a lot of other teams, things are not working out, and they just run into a wall over and over and over again. They do not make those swaps because they're not comfortable enough to do so. Team Liquid obviously not running into the same issues there. Absolutely phenomenal performance. We wanted to see them, or we were convinced we were going to see them succeed in this meta, and they did, but that was a hard-fought victory. Like, they made them work for it.
I'm exhausted. I wonder how the players must feel after that, because, man, they really pulled through. And they showed some new stuff they hadn't done before. In terms of the fact that I didn't realize that SSG were going to be this much leaning into Symmetra. But like Symmetra Diva has always been a thing. I mean, we've seen Alcacia sort of play that one. Chris has a lot of experience as a coach dealing with Symmetra type of strategies from Limited Spitfire, so and be injecting some of that play in there. I thought Hawk was going to play a lot more Zarya, but Diva ended up being his best hero of the day. And then on the opposite end, Team Liquid relying a lot less on the ball. In fact, the ball ended up being probably the most inconsistent hero for the day for Team Liquid, and they ended up winning across a multitude of other things, namely Ramatra and some Winston in there as well. Tree playing like so much Hanzo, and that being the hero of both Rialto and King's Roar. I mean, that was the carry here for those 2 maps, no doubt.
Yeah, let's actually hear it from the inside source. Vega will be joining us for a quick winners interview after this never-ending series. Thank you so much for taking the time. It's been a long day for you guys, and I'm sure you're eager to get some rest, but please walk us through this, because you denied them the reverse sweep, but holy, we had a C9, an Ajax, which I'm sure is going to live rent-free in your head for a few days.
Oh my gosh.
Can you maybe... Let's revisit those moments. What went right for your team? What went wrong? How did you rally to deny that reverse sweep?
So I think like a lot of what went wrong is we're just playing the worst comps in the world. Like we made a lot of bad hero swaps. I think a lot of people made some mistakes. Like people would get picked before the fight started, etc. In general, it's like we would lose when we were 5v5 and like playing the game normally. But whenever we made a mistake, we would win when we were playing like 5v5. But when we were making mistakes, like it was just impossible to win. And we made like too many mistakes, I feel.
I want to ask you about the last ban, the Tracer ban, because me and Avra were talking about it. We're like, oh, you know, they could ban the Hog or something like that if they really want to counter this kind of Wrecking Ball stuff that we thought you'd bring out. But Zera had been kind of farming on the Tracer. Obviously, the Gen.G, he's not a slouch on that either. But yeah, what was the thought process around that?
So personally, I was like one of the biggest reasons why I banned Tracer. I just thought Lenny was playing pretty good on Tracer. I was like, I don't know, if we ban Tracer, then we could play like Gen.G Reaper and like Brawl a lot. And we ended up swapping, but I think we should expect to lose first point and then expect to win the next 4 points. Because the next 4 points on Suravasa are like, they're super brawly, I guess, really like close corners. And that's why we ended up swapping like the Ramatra. Like people wanted to play like Ball, Freya, and like something else and like Poke. But I think I knew that we needed to win by playing like a Brawl style on Suravasa.
Speaking of styles here, how do you guys feel about SSG's style right now? They're mostly playing a lot of this Diva Sim stuff, a lot less of the Zarya. I feel like that was kind of something that was working against you guys. We look at King's Row, we look at Rialto. RuPaul started a lot on Ana. I felt like he was definitely the easy target for the Diva TPs, and you guys had to adjust from that a couple times. Yeah, like how do you feel going up against something like that against SSG? Because that didn't seem like that was going to be their style, but that's what they revealed today. Ended up working quite well.
Yeah, I think their style is pretty unique. It's like an Alcacia in Europe, but because like none of the other NA teams really play that style, Nightmare does play it, but they play like different variants of it. So we're pretty unprepared. But I think they actually are finding like a good style with the D.Va Lucio Kiri and even like Symmetra, or like they were playing like a lot of Pharah Freya.
Right on. Well, coming up, of course, you have easier week 4, and in week 5, you'll be going up against GK. What are your thoughts on that team? How do you think you're gonna stack up against them?
Oh, I think GK is pretty good, but based on all our practices, like we've been doing really good. I think we've been in a really good form. I think we really should win as long as we're confident and we play our style and we don't play bad in a match. I really think today was a bad showing for us, even though we did win.
Well, it made for an exciting game, so we're grateful for that. We kind of needed that after the previous series, so thanks a lot. We all farmed our sprays and rewards thanks to you guys, so we can appreciate
All
that.
right.
Vega, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah.
Thank you. And then can I say thank you to the people who watched my stream, and
Of
yeah,
course.
I love those people. And shout out my mom and dad.
And they love you. Always shout out to the mom and dads. Parents rock. I say that